Good morning. We're live. All right. I'd like to talk about cost of living with you today. Often, when we talk about leaving the United States, people have a skewed idea about what the cost of living might be in the place they're going to. I'm wearing my glasses because I was doing very serious work a minute ago. Um, and so, skewed in one direction or another. And I'd like to talk about the cost of living and in a real way, in a way that may give you a better approach to your move abroad. Once you have an idea of what your cost of living difference might be, your move abroad might become much more accessible. Hello, my name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School and the co-creator of Exodus Summit. I currently live in Bogota, Colombia. Moved into my apartment in July, and I believe that moving abroad is the best choice for most Black women and families. I'm from Delaware. I don't know a Black family who I wouldn't be like, I think you should pick up and go. Okay. If you're interested in this conversation at all, if you're here, you might as well subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit the button while I take a little sip of water. Okay, thank you. Turn on notifications, ring the notification bell. You'll be notified when I go live or when I have a special guest. Good morning, friends. Good morning, High Vibes. What's not working? Oh, good morning, High Vibes. Good morning, Katrina. Good morning, Nichelle. My thing is not clicking. Good morning, Gigi. Good morning, Marley. Listen, I see y'all. Good morning, ABX girl. Opportunity awaits. Hi, Rashida. One of the things I picked up from when I was back home in Delaware. You can't have it because it's my color. I have a color that I'm allowed to claim ownership over, but Rashida is not. Good morning, everyone. Friends, if you're here, hey, Alita. Oh, my thing. I'm sorry. Hi, Alita King from Dover, Delaware. Hi. If you're in the Exodus Summit community, maybe can you organize a meetup so my mom, Connie Perry, can come to a meetup? Thank you. Or maybe Connie Perry, Mom, are you here? If you're here, Mom, did you hear our announcement yesterday about the October 4th Exodus Summit Meetup, International Meetup Day? And would you like to host one in Dover? Okay, hello, everyone. Please, friends, say hi in the chat. And if you're watching the replays, say hey in the comments. Okay, this is what we do here. All right, so I had a special guest who was supposed to be with me today to talk about her cost of living. We're going to talk about my cost of living in Colombia, her cost of living in Guadalajara, Mexico. She's under the weather today, so send her good vibes, good feelings, prayers, thoughts, cash, right? We wish you the best, and I can't wait to talk to you on this channel in the future. Guadalajara, Mexico has a little burgeoning Exodus Summit girl gang, girl squad. So Marissa Price has been in Morocco for a while. And then yeah, some other women. There's a little squad. I hope that y'all know each other and are looking out for one another. I think a couple of the women are married or partnered, but that doesn't mean you don't need women to be on your side. Oh, thank you. Last night about 9:30 p.m. I was like, I really want to look cute tomorrow, but I don't want to do my hair. Like the eternal struggle. So, the retwist won out and I retwisted my hair. Okay. Chanel, anyone feeling great today? Been in community with Black women online in real life will give you peace in the midst of a storm. Absolutely. Listen, let me tell y'all. So that man who got pew pewed, I didn't even know his name because listen, I be in community with Black women and Black women only. And I didn't even know that man. Anyway, and who else? We are here in Sharon, you're here in Guadalajara? Okay, so there should be a really nice Exodus Summit meetup on October 4th in Guadalajara, if nowhere else, because there's a little burgeoning Exodus Summit squad there, right? Guadalajara is like, hold on, Puerto Vallarta and San Miguel and Mexico City, y'all are not the only locale, okay? Yeah, there's a nice little group of y'all. If you're in the Exodus Summit community, exodussummit.com/community, um, you should see meetups happening and being planned all over the world, literally. if you want to be one of the organizers of a meetup on October 4th, please join the Exodus Summit community. I'm trying to get the link. And if you and that I think I finished that thought. Exodus. I'm just going to type here. I got it. Okay. We left Facebook. We moved to a new community, and we're celebrating that with an international meetup day. Meetups happening worldwide, literally. You can jump on somebody else's. You can go to one that somebody's organized, or you can just organize one. Rashida and I announced that yesterday on the Exodus Summit YouTube channel. Let's talk cost of living. So when we talk about moving to another country, people often think about the idea of arbitrage, location arbitrage, right? Leave a more expensive place, go to a less expensive place. In the US, there's a group called Flip the Zip, right? Flip the zip code. Let's go from a more expensive place to a less expensive place, hopefully while keeping the higher income, or at least a higher income. And so that's also a thing that's common inside of this move abroad community. But I'd like to talk a little more realistically about that. Rent is a thing that people hold up as a thing that makes another location more expensive. I think I would like to say that travel is a thing that they often underestimate. So people sometimes, let me organize my thoughts. People often know that their rent can be less expensive if they go to another location, but then they discount or undercount what travel is now going to cost them from that place, right? So being here means I need to have time on my calendar when I'm flying to, well, you don't fly to Delaware, but when I'm going to Delaware, when I'm traveling to Delaware, because my parents, my family, and some of my stuff is in Delaware. So I need to make specific trips to Delaware. If you have parents, if you have adult children or not adult children, right? And you're moving to another place, your travel back and forth to that place is a thing that you need to calculate into your cost of living. What does that look like for me? I didn't choose a place in Colombia that was like inexpensive. This place in Colombia is probably about the cost of a place if I were to rent in Delaware. What's the difference? If I were to rent in Delaware, $2,100, I'll tell you, I'm paying $2,100 per month rent. And $2,100 is probably pretty standard rent in Delaware. But in Delaware, I wouldn't have 4 bedrooms, right? In Delaware, I wouldn't have space for co-living, which is a thing that I plan to be doing. I would have enough space for me and maybe an office, right? Probably 2 bedrooms. And I wouldn't be in this walkable neighborhood. I would need to have a car, which is the thing I didn't add to my list. I would need a car, insurance, gas, maintenance, that expense. And I would be in an area where I would have to get in a car and go everywhere. It's hard to find walkability in Delaware. Or I guess it doesn't exist. And even and public transportation in Delaware is not thorough. It's not really all that useful. And so even though my rent here is the rent that I probably would pay, if I went home to Delaware today and I decided to rent an apartment, I would probably be paying around $2,100. Anybody in Delaware renting right now? I would probably be paying about $2,100, but I wouldn't have what I have here, right? The walkability, the room for other people. There's room for 2 families in this house. The kitchen is small, but there's room for 2 families. There's 2 living areas. There's a formal dining room. There's 2 bedrooms have an ensuite bath, right? So they're like 2 master bedrooms and then two bedrooms that share a hall bath. It's really well appointed. There's even a room in Colombia and in Latin America, they do maid's quarters. What do they call? They don't call her a maid. They call her something like a maid's quarters. There's an extra room and bathroom downstairs that doesn't even count in my 4-bedroom, 3-bath. In the 4-bedroom, 3-bath count, They don't count the maid's quarters, which is a tiny bedroom, 6 foot bed, 6 by, not even six. Mine is tiny, 6 by 4, plus a full bathroom with a shower, right? So what I'm getting for the same amount of money is better, right? So what I'm saying is, okay, Christian Jane pays, girl, $3,200 for 2 bedrooms in Brooklyn. I think so. I went to Christian's neighborhood. Christian planned to meet up when I was in New York in April, and I believe that was your neighborhood. We went to her neighborhood restaurant where the owner came and talked to us. Right, really chill spot, good food, nice neighborhood. But man, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. New York City is a city. You're in a great neighborhood in one of the best cities in the world, but you're paying, okay, you're paying that price tag for it. Um, and then CK says, everybody's saying, wow. Okay, San Jose, California. We know this. Bay Area, if you live in the Bay Area and you can handle the Bay Area weather, then you'll love Bogota, okay? Come to Bogota. Be my friend. Come to Bogota. Get you for $4,500. Do you know what you could have down here? You could have 4 apartments. Now, Columbia is not a house city. You know, there are some cities where you can get a house in the city. Not a lot of houses in this city, mostly apartments in apartment buildings. But there are still some houses that exist. And the houses, when I see a house for rent on like one of the rental sites, the price is usually really relatively low compared to an apartment because they don't care for houses here. So if you do happen to snag a house down here, a 4 bedroom house in Bogota, so I'm at 8.5 million for my rent in pesos. And you can see a house in a neighborhood like this for 5.5, 6.5 million. So 2 million less. So that's $500 less. So anyway, okay. Okay. I always have an agenda. Please move to Bogota and be my friend. So cost of living. We know to include the rent. We often forget to calculate the travel back and forth. And then I just remembered we don't necessarily calculate your automobile costs. Does anyone know their automobile cost for the year, right? Whether you own your car or outright, or you're still making payments, do you know what that car actually costs you for a year? Gas, insurance, plus and maintenance on top of the car expense, the actual cost of the car. I never did that. No, I never did that math. But already I was sick of having a car. Going out for that year and traveling for a year around the world and seeing people live full lives with no car because the automobile and gas industry did not have a strong hold on their government was really enlightening. It was really amazing to see fully functioning public transportation, fully encapsulated neighborhoods, little small walkable neighborhoods where you could do everything: parks, grocery stores, jobs inside of one little walkable neighborhood. That's probably so. Rashida and I talked the other day, and I was like, seeing people have downtime was one of the things that made me know I couldn't move back to the US. But also the car thing. Spending a year without a car and living a full life told me at least I couldn't live in Delaware, right? If I was going to live back in the United States, I couldn't live in a place where you need a car. And the entire state of Delaware, you need a car, right? So has anyone ever done that? Done the car number? I think, yeah, Christian says $400 a month for insurance in New York City, right? Once you turn, I think, was it 35? Once you're 35, your insurance plunges, right? The price of your insurance plunges. I have an insurance policy. I still have car insurance in Delaware because it's like $12 a month. So that whenever I rent a car, I'm covered. And also in most countries, in some countries, they don't count. That doesn't count. You still need to buy insurance. I think Mexico is one of those places, frankly. And then because when I go home, I drive a lot. because you have to. When I go to Delaware, I do drive a lot. Carmen J on the move. My car cost me $8,500 per year. Carmen's in Philadelphia, in or near Philadelphia. Yeah, okay. So, and then Kimberly Madison, Dr. Kimberly Madison, I have gone carless twice because of the expenses. My old car for years inspection, insurance, gas, about $3,000, and it's paid for, I assume. And that's an old car, right? So this is another thing to factor into the cost of living difference. So, okay, rent, travel, car, utilities, cost of living difference. This is the first difference that I'm really seeing because I'm not paying like pennies for my rent. The first real cost of living difference that I'm seeing here in Bogota is utilities. There was in the wintertime in Delaware, my electric bill would often be $350 per month. Not for the winter, $350 a month. I lived in a tiny row house, a connected house, right? I was on the end, but there were two of us cooked together, right? My neighbor was Iris. She was a wonderful neighbor. All my neighbors were Black. All my neighbors were Black. All right. I lived in a wonderful neighborhood, but it was an old drafty house, and my electric bill was $350 in the wintertime per month. In the summertime, it would go down to $75, and it felt like I won the lottery. That was time. Summertime is when I could catch up on everything. April, May, June, July, maybe not April, but May, June, July, August, I'm catching up on everything. September, 350. I just paid I paid my gas bill here, which was $3 here in Bogota. And I paid my electric bill. Where do I see that? I know it was in the tens. It was teens. I think it was $15 or so for my electric bill here in Bogota. My I still do the pay per month phone thing, right? Where I have to buy data every month. And my phone bill down here is $20 because I get 50 gigabytes of data. Because I often use my phone as a hotspot because I'm still figuring out the office. My office is kind of like a bank vault. And sometimes my Wi-Fi router doesn't shoot the Wi-Fi in here. So I get 50 gigabytes of data for about $20. Whereas in the US, my Google Fi phone plan, I pay $30 just to get 16 gigs of data, I think. The first $30 is 16 gigs of data. And then I have a I have cable TV for some reason. Cable TV plus internet. She just sent me my landlord. I pay my landlord and she pays that bill for me. And Olga just sent me that. And that was, she sent me the paid bill, 55,000 colones. I mean, not, I keep saying colones, 55,000 Colombian pesos. Okay, $14.12 for my internet plus TV. So utilities on this side of the cost of living, I'm winning. I'm winning with utilities. And this includes this, but you need to understand that I live in a city where 65 or 70 degrees is the high all year long. And so I'm not running air conditioning. Okay. So Lakila, so Starlink has an amazing reputation as giving good internet. Problem, it's owned by Elon Musk. Did you know that? I'm not a person who is completely divested from giving my money to white assholes, but I try my hardest not to give my money to white assholes. And so I can't wait for somebody to buy Starlink out from under him. That's the only hope, right? The only hope. Because inside of these are brick buildings with cement walls. And internet is really dodgy inside of here. My internet is dodgy. I seriously, it's like work. My office is like a bank vault. You remember my videos last week and the week before that and the week before that and the week before that when I sounded so echoey. Got me a microphone, so I sound a little better, I hope. But yeah, I've tried my hardest not to, just when I can, right? So I don't shop on Amazon anymore. Um, Jeff Bezos, he don't need no more of my money, right? I try to buy directly from the people. I do. I bought two. I'm on my second Wi-Fi extender, trying to shoot the Wi-Fi into this room. I had the first one was week to week, so I had to buy a stronger one, and it's better. But still, I often do use my phone as a hotspot because of this bank vault office situation. Um, yeah. So HughesNet, I haven't seen any HughesNet down here. Starlink, you see when you open up the Wi-Fi, and you can see your neighbor's Wi-Fi. There are people using Starlink here, and so I know it works here. But no, thank you. No thanks. I'll pass. You see how official I am, Lorraine. um, CK, are you losing funds on converting funds? Do you add this cost? This is a good thing. Another thing that we don't think about, not only the cost of converting money, right? So I'm writing this down. Not only the cost of converting the money, but also the cost in currency fluctuations. Um, so the dollar to I'm not in Costa Rica. The dollar to the Colombian peso has a relatively rocky relationship. My plan is, I haven't done this yet. My plan is to study somebody. I'm sure somebody, the nomad capitalist who I don't like, but does have helpful info, right? And I wouldn't give him any money, but I would use his resources. That's a me thing. Um, Find like a baseline for the peso. When is it the right time to move a good amount of money from dollars into pesos into a bank in Colombia? I haven't even thought about doing that yet, but that is a plan so that I don't lose money during the currency fluctuations. When the peso is stronger than when the dollar is really losing value to the peso, then I need to pay my rent and stuff and pay my bills using the peso. And when the dollar is stronger, I need to pull the money from that account. You know what I'm saying? That fluctuation is an important thing to factor into cost of living stuff, into knowing that you have a better cost of living when you go somewhere. So thank you for asking that question. I have not solved the problem, but I have thought about the problem. When I say fluctuations, I really don't. It's hard to say that the fluctuation is strong until you really feel the pain, right? Right. Because my biggest bill to pay in Colombia is rent, I need to look often and see what is 8.5 million pesos. And am I sticking close to the 2150? Am I veering off? I need to be tracking that number. Bringing the money over does include a fee, but that fee varies based on what platform you're using. So I had the hardest time bringing money over using Wise. They actually just told me, no, you can't use this anymore. When I was in Mexico and Costa Rica, I had no problem using Wise. It used to be called TransferWise. I had no problem using Wise to transfer money over. But here in Bogota, they were like, this looks fishy. This looks suspicious. And so I've been cut off of the Wise platform. And then the one that PayPal owns. Is that the one PayPal owns? Whichever one PayPal owns, I haven't been able to use that in Bogota. I think it's just a discrimination thing, right? Because if I could use it in Mexico and I could use it in Costa Rica, but I can't use it here, they're just discriminating against these people. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. So I've been using Western Union. Now, how to get money from my US, if I need to pay Most of the time, if I need cash, not most of the time, if I need cash, I just pull cash out of the ATM, right? I use my bank doesn't charge foreign transaction fees, and they refund me ATM fees. So I'm not losing money anytime I need cash. I feel good about that. But when I need to pay my landlord and I need to put that money into her bank account, I can't do that from my US bank. My US bank will not put money into her Colombian bank account. So that's when I have to use a third party. I've been using Western Union, and I don't know what I've been paying. Frankly, I haven't looked at the fee because it costs what it costs. And I don't have any other solution because Wise and PayPal have Zoom. Zoom is the one owned by PayPal, XOOM. They've cut me off. They say I look shady because I'm in Colombia. I don't know. So I've been using Western Union. I don't know what it's been costing me to get that money over there. So, but that is a thing. That is a thing to calculate, to factor in to these things. I think the two more surprising cost of living benefits, right? The two more surprising things about me being in Latin America have been the low cost of food and the low cost of healthcare. It's not surprising to me because I've been known, but it's surprising to other people. The low cost of food and the low cost of healthcare. Because we eat food every day, the difference in the price of food is significant, except for Costa Rica. Costa Rica is an expensive country, and food in Costa Rica is just as expensive as food in Delaware, I think. Less expensive than the Bay Area, but as expensive as Delaware. But food down here, when my little rappy when I can order, I like to order two dinners and a breakfast at the same time. If I'm ordering from a restaurant and I know they serve breakfast and dinner, I order my dinner for today, my dinner for tomorrow, and a breakfast. And it's rarely more than $40. Whereas in Costa Rica, $40 was one meal, right? Yeah. Yeah, you understand. I try my hardest not to give him money, and I don't watch his videos. Um like I don't regularly watch his videos. I've probably watched 10 of his videos ever. Try my hardest not to get money into his pockets. But also, he's been doing this for quite a while. He's got a lot of resources that are helpful. Food, okay? Food, very low price, surprisingly low here in Bogota. Bogota is a city, right? It's the capital. And I'm in a financial district. My apartment is not too far from where some of the bank headquarters are. And food is not expensive, right? Even something like I had McDonald's this week or last week. And my whole order, including delivery and all of that, was like $12. And I don't even know if you can get a meal in McDonald's going to pick it up in the US for $12. So the food cost of living I've appreciated here. Costa Rica, for Central America, Costa Rica has a high, here's what they say. Costa Rica has a high income, and so everything costs more money, right? They make more money in Costa Rica, and everybody charges them more money in Costa Rica. That's my understanding. They make their average monthly income, I want to say it's over $1,000 Costa, which is high. Costa for Latin America. Something like that. Is that right? Average monthly salary. I don't want that. What is the average monthly income in Costa Rica? 2024, it was reported as $820. For Central America, that's high. And so everything costs more money in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is very expensive. It's very expensive. Um, okay, but I'm in Colombia. Not it's. I've seen the difference in Costa Rica. You'll be like, food. These prices look normal. In Colombia, you're like, oh, this looks good. Also, when we were in Lisbon, Portugal. Now I had just left Costa Rica. We were in Lisbon, Portugal last year. We passed through Portugal after the cruise. And I was like, oh, I remember these prices. These Lisbon food prices are nice. I love going to a restaurant and seeing like 12 euros, 15 euros, 18 euros on a menu. Because in Costa Rica, nothing is 12 or 15 or $18. No meal is 12 or 15 or $18. Unless you're going to a, like they do have mom and pop, the sodas, like a soda is like a mom and pop place. But if you're going to a more formal restaurant, you're not seeing 15 euros on the menu. I was like, oh, I forgot what this was like. It's kind of like that down here as well. I'm going to save this question for later and remember to go back to it. And then this, do I see prices rising because of tariffs? I do not. I don't know. I can't, my thing is not scrolling. Work with me. Work with me. Come on. Is it, maybe I need to charge it. I'm sorry, I can't put it on the screen, but the question is, do I see costs rising here because of tariffs? I don't, I haven't noticed that. Colombia is not, it doesn't seem to be so US reliant. Like when I bought this mic, it was hard to find this mic because all of their like they have products and services and products and stuff from other countries, right? You're going to get this is made in this is a line of products made in Brazil, and this is a line of products made in China, and this is a line of products made in whatever. They're not really reliant on US stuff like that. I haven't noticed. Yeah, so I haven't noticed a rise in prices from things because I haven't really been focused. I haven't really, I think my thing is not working. I haven't really had to deal with US stuff, right? Now, when I did want this microphone, I wanted this microphone because it has a reputation of being decent in echoey rooms. It's a Blue Yeti. There were two, Sennheiser something and Blue Yeti have a reputation of being good in echoey spaces. So I wanted this one in particular. But they had shelves and shelves of other microphones, other brands I'd never heard of, right? From Europe, from South America, from Asia. And so I'm going to assume that's why I haven't noticed the price changes because they don't really need the US products like that. I don't know what, I guess it's a thing I could Google. I don't know what Colombia would import from the US that would, that would impact my daily life. I don't know the answer. I'm not saying that there's nothing. I'm saying I don't know the answer. Thank you. My mic sounds excellent. Great investment. Thank you. I'm sorry my mouse isn't working. I can't put things on the screen, which I love to do. I have it plugged in, so we'll see. Let me plug it in. Any issues with ATM safety? I have not had any issues with ATM safety. So here there are places where you can go where there's going to be a security guard with a guard dog. Now, the guard dog is often a golden retriever. I'm like, we both know that guard dog is not doing anything. He's just sitting here looking happy. Okay. But you can go, if you're concerned about using ATMs in big cities, you can go to an ATM with a security guard out front. There's a decent amount of that around the city. Good security guards around a lot of the parts of the city. My little neighborhood, no, does not. But if I were to walk, I'm not too far from a mall, a big mall, and that area, security guards everywhere. So if that's your concern, that's a thing that I would do. Years ago, when I went to Brazil, my bank would not allow my ATM card to work after 6 p.m. Once it got dark, my ATM card did not work, and that was my bank's thing, not a Brazil thing. I mean, that was my bank's thing because I was in Brazil. But I haven't seen, I don't see too many things here. I know that robbery and pickpocketing and phone theft and that theft are a thing here, but I haven't encountered it, thankfully. So I don't have any problems at this point going to the ATM. I also don't have any use for cash. So when I do go to the ATM, it's not like I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of US dollars, the equivalent of hundreds of dollars. I'm just getting little pieces of money. So when I buy my flowers from the flower lady, she doesn't have to make a lot of change. This is a city like other cities. It's not, it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm in the safest place in the world. It's a big city, right? It's a big old city. So we have to govern ourselves accordingly. Did that work? No, I'm so sorry. My thing is not working. I don't know how to do this without you. How do I talk without being able to put stuff on the screen? Okay. Rent, utilities, travel, car, converting money, and food. Okay, so those are not healthcare. Those are cost of living things that you can be on the plus side on, but you need to know your numbers. I think if you do a decent job of calculating what your expenses will be in a new place, you'll see that number be lower than where you are today if you live in a major US city. Now, maybe if you live in a small town I don't know who has a low cost of living today. Kansas. Does anybody live in Kansas? You may not be able to directly one-to-one see a better cost of living until we get to this last point or this next point. But if you live in a major city, I think you can get to a place in the world where you're going to enjoy yourself, where you're going to like it, and where you're going to see a better cost of living. Okay. Until we get to healthcare. I mean, until the two thoughts. You may not, if you live in a small, inexpensive part of the US today, you may not see a difference in your cost of living by leaving the country. You may even go to a place where it's more expensive. If you leave, CK says someplace in Mississippi, and you move to Puerto Vallarta or Playa del Carmen, Mexico, you may see your cost of living increase, right? Until you get to healthcare. I think healthcare is the universal way that Americans see a better cost of living by leaving. Number one, insurance is better, is lower. And number two, the actual expense of the healthcare abroad is lower. The United States decided long ago that healthcare was going to be a profit generator, that the healthcare was an industry, right? Not a right, not even a service, but an industry and a profit generating industry without real controls, without any real safeguards for people, without any concern for the people. And other countries didn't follow suit. Thank the Lord. Other countries did not follow suit. And so other countries do treat healthcare like it is a right that people have and that it makes their country better. Having healthy citizens, healthy residents makes their country a better country, right? It makes everything better about their place. And so you go to these countries. In Colombia, they have a 90-something% insured rate. 97, 98% of Colombians have some sort of have insurance, healthcare insurance, no matter how much they pay for it, whether it's free or not free, right? Mine is not free. I pay $1,800 for a year of insurance here. But even if, and they require it to be a resident here, you have to be insured here. Some countries don't mind that, right? They're like, if you want to pay out of pocket, pay out of pocket. Colombia's like, no, you're not paying out of pocket, get insurance. But even if I weren't insured, healthcare costs are so low, so inexpensive for me as a person who who earns US dollars, right? I make a living in US dollars. I'm not making the $800 a month average Costa Rican income, right? For me, healthcare is so accessible. And the reason that everyone is insured here is so that it can be accessible for everyone, not just the people who make good money, right? Um, Healthcare is that is where you will see, no matter where you live in the United States, healthcare is where you will see your cost of living do better, especially if your fear about retirement is, or your fear of aging is financial. If your financial fear is, what if I get sick? Or you don't even have to be a senior citizen to have that fear. If your fear is, what if I get sick? Because that would financially ruin me, living in another country will take that off of your shoulders entirely. In my neighborhood, now Bogota is not senior friendly. All the pavement is uneven. You got to be on it. If you're a senior citizen in Bogota, you got to be able to march, lift your knees. Like I be telling my mom, lift your knees, march, right? You can't be shuffling along on these sidewalks. But anytime I leave here, what I see is a older person holding the arm of a nurse or whatever her role is, a healthcare provider, a care provider, walking down the street because they can afford, whether it's a nurse who comes to their home or they move into a place that provides this service, they can afford someone to look out for them. Because healthcare hasn't been placed at a premium, and care, these just general service workers have not been placed at such a price that a regular everyday person can't afford it. I'm not afraid to age, even though the sidewalks, listen, I'm gonna have to stay nimble. Being out of the United States means you're gonna have to physically stay nimble, right? Because they don't care. There's no disabilities. There does not seem to be a Colombians with Disabilities Act. They don't seem to, the sidewalks, the steps, all of that, dodgy. But I know financially, this place is not going to ruin me if I age here. Also, I'm in a relatively bougie neighborhood, and the daycare down the street from me, full day daycare. They have a plan where you send the kid with food, and they have a plan where they provide the meals. Full day daycare with meals. Let me double check this number before I say it out loud. Full day daycare. Let me get on my phone. It was, guess, how much a month? Full day daycare. This was a preschool age, full day daycare meals, but not including their extracurriculars, because they have a little pool. They have a swimming lesson and they have a karate lesson. That's not included. It was 1,500,000 Colombian pesos per month, which is $385 a month. $385 a month in my bougie neighborhood for a full day for your preschool daycare with food. I think some of y'all pay close to that a week. I think some of y'all, I think, right? I think that's a week in the United States. I'm seeing the chat. You can't see the chat because I can't put it on the screen, but okay. Classy Hacker said that would make me want to adopt too. Girl, right? So when we talk about cost of living, it's not just the obvious things. The difference in the cost of living isn't just with the obvious rent, because your rent may not go down. You may do like me and be like, how much can I afford? Put it in the bag. Just throw it in the bag, right? The cost of living differences may not be the most obvious differences. A lot of the differences are in your quality of life decisions, the things that you do to have a better quality of life. That's where you're likely going to see the difference in your healthcare, in your education, and in your daycare, in not needing a car. Even if you get a car, you don't need a car. I have 2 parking spots downstairs. If I get a car, I get a car. I don't plan to, I don't need it, right? That's where we're going to see the difference in the quality of life. I wish I could put your stuff on the screen. I'm sorry, I can't. The plant plan says in New York City, that's 1 week babysitter. Yeah, right? Families often, in my world, on this YouTube channel, in the Exodus Summit space, in this space, families often think that this isn't a solution for them, but y'all, this is most urgent for you, right? I think it's most urgent for families. Yeah, Shells, if you go to house sit, let me see. If I can't use my thing, I can't put links on. Well, can I type in the chat? This is so hard. Okay. I don't know what happened here. Okay, so I did this. Can I at least type in the comments? Yeah. No. I can't even type in the box. This isn't my mouse's problem. This is something else. If you go to housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit, you'll get my new house sitter toolkit, which includes my link to Trusted House Sitters. housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. And then if you're watching the replays, I'll put some links in the description of this video. This sucks because I need to tell y'all about some things. Exodus Summit 2025. I can't even put the link for Exodus Summit 2025 in here? Exodus Summit 2025 tickets are on sale. So we're talking about cost of living. How am I going to make the money to cover that cost of living is your question. I'm not on my laptop. I bought a computer. My laptop died. And I need to take it to the man to see if he can fix it. So I'm on my desktop. And my mic sounds nice, but nothing else is working. Life is so hard. Life is so hard. So I just turned my mouse on and off to see if it'll work. I had it plugged in since I discovered it wasn't working, but it's still not doing anything. Okay. Exodus Summit 2025 is online, October 10th through 13th. Exodus Summit 2025 theme is More Move Abroad Money. If you go to exodussummit.com, you can get your ticket to Exodus Summit 2025. We're bringing in Black women speakers who make money in a certain way, and they're coming to teach you how to make money that way so that you can have the money to move abroad. So just yesterday on the Exodus Summit YouTube channel, Rashida and I announced some new sessions. Arlen Hamilton, world famous investor extraordinaire, is actually coming to Exodus Summit to teach us membership. She's coming to Exodus Summit to teach you how to make money from memberships. Some of you already have communities and spaces. You have a thing that you do and a group of people that you serve. That should be enough money to support you. If you're serving a group of people, if you're facilitating conversation, if you're facilitating change, if you're facilitating a transformation for people, you should be able to support yourself from that space. I believe that. Clearly, I believe that, right? I support myself from the Exodus Summit space, from this YouTube channel, right? So Arlen Hamilton herself is coming to teach memberships, how to make money from memberships at Exodus Summit 2025. She got a gang of memberships, right? She's a person who has gone out into the world and said, here's a thing I know, and I want to share that with you. Here's a place where you come and learn from me, right? Erica De Niro TV says she just started a Patreon. I saw your announcement. I saw your video where you said you're where you said that, right? Your thing should be enough to support you. I don't buy into this idea that you shouldn't make money from things that you from serving other people. Only Black women get that message, first of all. Okay? They don't never say that to Tony Robbins. Nobody says, Tony Robbins, stop charging money for your workshops. Only Black women get that message, first of all. And second of all, community is valuable to us. We see that now, don't we? Community is valuable. If there's value in it, then you should be able to receive some of the value from it. It's an exchange. We shouldn't be doing serving, giving for nothing. Not if you don't want to. You can do it. You can if you want. If you got the money, do it. But if not, Arlen Hamilton is coming in to Exodus Summit 2025 to teach you how to make money from memberships. Okay? And I wholeheartedly recommend those of you who are out here with some community, with some thing that you do out in the world, some way that you serve people out in the world, I recommend that you come and you take that session seriously. Because Black women are the only people who get told over and over, we got to give for free. Right? Started in the church. We got to give to the pastor for, it didn't start in the church, but we see it so much in the church. Give to the pastor for free, but the pastor gets paid. Right? Why I got to be the armor bearer for nothing? No more of that. Okay. Let's see. What other new sessions did we just announce? Oh, so for some of you, your job today may be the pathway to you moving abroad by making a whole gang of money now on this job so you can leave it and go. Right? If you could make a whole lot of more money on your job today, maybe you stay for however many more months or years, whatever, and then you take that gang of cash and go. So we have a speaker coming in to talk, Jacqueline Twilley, coming in to teach you negotiation. Jacqueline has made it her mission to close the pay disparity, the pay gap. The pay gap needs to be addressed by the payer and the payee, right? The payee needs to also address this. I know y'all underpaying me. Let's fix this. The payee also needs to bring it to the table. And so Jacqueline Twilley is coming to help us negotiate. Those of you who have a traditional job and know that there's money there, there's more money there, you're just not accessing it, that session is for you. ExodusSummit.com is where you get your ticket to Exodus Summit 2025. So more speakers and more sessions will be announced soon. Early bird price ends on September 19th. We should have more to announce that day. The last day of early bird pricing, we'll probably have more sessions to announce. But let me look at my notes and see what else I want to tell you about. Especially now that we're talking cost of living, let's talk about how to make that money, right? If we're going to calculate what our cost of living might be in another place, let's talk about how to cover that. And then ain't no problems. The problem with being a paper note taker is that you're always flipping through notes. I had a list somewhere of sessions I was allowed to announce, but I don't know where I put it. If anybody's coming to my meetup, can you bring me some notebooks? Teaching abroad. We have a panel on teaching abroad. If you're already a teacher, right? If you're already a credentialed teacher or a person who works in education in the United States, you'll probably be surprised how in demand you are around the world and how much better your life can be as a teacher in other places. Black women I know who leave the US and teach abroad don't come back. I just saw, so in Exodus Summit 2020, Oman, Nicole Brewer was a speaker. She's in Oman, and she's been a teacher in Oman for quite a while in the Middle East. And she just said this summer, still, on Instagram, she just said this summer she's thinking about leaving Oman. But you know what she didn't say? She didn't say she's thinking about going back to the United States. Right? She says she's looking for her next role and she's looking to leave the Middle East. But she damn sure did not say she's coming back to the United States to teach. She came to the US for the summer. She's from Detroit. Black women from Detroit and Chicago, one thing they're going to do is go home in the summertime. They are not missing Detroit in the summer. They're not missing summertime in Chicago. So she went back to Chicago for the summer, but she's looking to leave the Middle East, but not looking to come back to the United States to teach. No, indeed, not today. Lorraine Ellis Clay says she saw her episode on CNBC. I don't think I've seen that unless it was a while ago. If it's recent, I missed it. I need to go look for that. So teaching, if you're already a teacher or you already work in education, okay? But also we're going to be talking to those of you who have an interest in, or maybe not even yet an interest in teaching English abroad through the TEFL certification or the TEFL or TESOL. Because teaching abroad can be a way to support yourself, whether you're a teacher today or not. Being a native English speaker is a pathway to money. It's a pathway to money if you are interested in teaching English. So we have a panel on teaching abroad for those of you who are teachers today and those of you who are not. Velyn Smith says Detroit in the summer is all the way live. Listen, one thing I know about a Black woman from Detroit, okay? I don't care where she is in the world. She going home. She going home in the summertime. She's not missing summertime in Detroit. Same for y'all in Chicago. Those of you who are in Chicago today, who are leaving Chicago, remember how we talked about your airplane tickets? Remember how we talked about travel being an expense you need to account for now that you're gone? You're going back, okay? You're probably going to go back. That's what I know about y'all. I don't know other places. Black women from other places, they'd be like, yeah, whatever. Black women from Detroit and Chicago do not miss the summer. They go back, whether it's for a few days or the whole summer. They go back, right? Queen Michelle, listen, they don't miss it. They don't miss it. Add that to your list of expenses. Okay, teaching abroad, another session that I'm allowed to announce. Makara's coming in to talk expat taxes. Your tax burden can be lowered when you leave the US. You need to know some things. And so expat taxes is another thing that can positively impact your cost of living if you know what you're doing. As I always say, sessions in Exodus Summit are designed to be, each session in Exodus Summit is designed to be worth the full ticket price for that person. For the person who is interested in a session on teaching abroad, the whole price of Exodus Summit is worth it. That ticket is worth it just for that one session. For those of you who need a session on taxes, the whole price of Exodus Summit is worth that. Christine, I can't see what they're congratulating you for. Can you type it again? Can you type it again? Dr. Orletta says, I'm bopping right now. I never intend on not being in Detroit in September ever again. Oh, you miss it? Next time. Next time. What other session am I allowed to announce? Teaching, Arlen, Makara, Jacqueline. Okay, then I have another page. Those were the most recent announcements. It's hard to do. Listen, you don't understand how hard it is to remember things live online until you have to remember things live online. Another session for those of you who are going a more traditional job route. Coach VetJet is doing a session on simple certifications that get you the job that you want. Simple certifications, whether you want remote work or just a traditional job with more pay or something else. There are some certifications out here that make you more standoutable, that help you get hired. I'm going through my notes. Help me, Rashida. I can't remember what session. I can't remember things. Halana Black, whose articles you've probably seen floating around recently in Essence, and other publications, Halana Black is doing a session on freelancing, freelance writing in particular. But a freelancing session is always helpful if you're a freelancer, even if you're not a freelance writer, because a lot of freelancing is positioning yourself, right? A lot of freelancing is, how do I make sure that I communicate what I do to people in the good way? And how do I pitch? Pitching is hard. We know this because we've received a lot of pitches for Exodus Summit speakers. And we're not good at it naturally. You're not naturally good at pitching yourself, no matter what you think. Okay. Because I just read a bunch of pitches. Okay. Let me tell the truth. Rashida just read a bunch of pitches and I skimmed through a few. So pitching is not a natural thing. It's a thing that you learn. So the Exodus Summit session on freelancing will be super helpful for those of you who need to get yourself in front of people. Okay. My session is on using YouTube as your sales team. YouTube is a free salesman in your business, or saleswoman in your business, right? None of you would have, some of you in this chat today have taken house sitter school. Some of you in this chat today have attended Exodus Summit. Some of you have attended my YouTube Success Challenge. Rashida's in my Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge, right? None of you would know me except for YouTube, except for Connie Perry, my mom. I wouldn't even know Rashida if it wasn't for YouTube, right? And so my session is on using YouTube as your sales team. If you're going to use memberships, or we have a session on premium course creation. If you're going to use memberships or courses or freelancing or one of these things to make your move abroad money, my session will pair nicely with that. A little pairing. My session will help you do those things and get yourself in front of the people you want to get yourself in front of. Okay. I'm forgetting trading. Terry Ijeoma, the Black woman trader. Terry Ijeoma is teaching a session on trading. Trading is different from long-term investing in that you need to be active and make trades to make profit. There are women in this community, Sandra, there are women who trade every day and make enough money to live that day or that week by trading stocks. I can't teach you that. Because let me tell you, I tried to get in on, so this is, okay, don't judge me. Okay, don't judge me. I'm just a human person. I'm not a perfect person, even though I talked earlier about not wanting to give my money to Nazi, racist, white people. I'm not perfect. Okay, so we saw the wildfires happened, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy the stock in this company. I'm going to buy an individual stock, which is something I'd never do. I'm going to buy an individual stock in this company because they're the only US company who makes those fireproof roof tiles. I lost all that money. For some reason, that stock plummeted, and I don't know why. Right? I can't teach you trading. I'm not Terry Ijeoma. Okay. I thought maybe I could make a few $100s. I lost my few $100s. Stock trading, Terry Ijeoma, full-time pay for part-time work. This session is on coming to the US, working for weeks or months, and leaving the US with enough money to live out for months and months and months. There are women in this community right now who come fly into the US, work for a few months, leave with their stash of cash, and don't come back till the next year. I met someone who does that and who lives in Rwanda, but I don't remember who you are. The session is being taught by Shakira Exford. You know Kira. You probably know her as Designing Ease on Instagram. Y'all know Kira. She's in this community. But I met someone who does that, goes back and forth from Rwanda. Kira is in Mexico. She comes back and forth from Mexico, works for months at a time, then goes back. But I don't remember. Somebody does that from Rwanda. She comes in to New York, works for a few months, goes back to Rwanda, spends the rest of the year in Rwanda. Full-time pay, a full year's pay for months or weeks of work. Okay. That session, some of you don't even know that's a possibility. And some of you are going to attend that session and be like, oh, problem solved. That was my original plan when I left for my sabbatical in 2015, my gap year, my grown up gap year. My plan was to come back and work. And I did. I came back and worked for 3 months. And then I went to South Africa. But then I started house sitting and virtual assistant work and didn't have to keep coming back and forth. But that was my original plan. Come back, get another job at another hospital, work for 3 months, stay with my parents, work for 3 months, get enough money to be gone for the rest of the year. 3 months on, 9 months off. That was my original plan. And I did it one full cycle before I moved on to something else. Oh, Jaleesa, I've done the same by selling art in New Orleans. Okay. Some of you, when you hear from these speakers in the summit, not only are you going to get a whole new possibility, but you're going to get an execution plan. How do I execute this? Not just I'm inspired to do this, but how do I do it? Women come into Exodus Summit to get you your first dollars doing that thing, right? Not just, ever since I got the microphone, I just be bent over talking. Let me get my posture up. I need a little stand. I need a mic stand to raise it up a little bit higher. I was saying something really good too. Yeah, women are going to, these speakers come into Exodus Summit to get you progress, not to cheer you on, not to give you inspiration. Listen, I hope you're inspired right now. Okay, I can do that part. I got that covered. I hope you're inspired today. Get your ticket to Exodus Summit 2025 so you can take some action, so you can get some results, so you can get some money in your pocket. Move abroad money, once you know your cost of living, it's just a simple math problem. How much money do I need for the month or for the year? And how do I make that money? Some of you are going to make that money by, you're going to know your number for the year. You're going to come to the United States. You're going to work for 3 to 6 months, and then you're going to leave. And you're going to have that money for the year, right? That's the part-time work for full-time pay session with Kira, Designing Ease, right? Some of you are going to solve that math problem through trading. I know I can eat on, I just told y'all, $44. My bill yesterday when I ordered 2 dinners and a breakfast was $44, right? If I could trade and make $44, my day was free, right? I've covered my day. I don't have to touch whatever other money. Some of you, so these sessions in Exodus Summit, each one is designed to be, if it's for you, if it's a session for you, each one is designed to be worth the full ticket. If there are 15 or 16 sessions in Exodus Summit, not all of them are going to speak to you. Not all of them are going to be worth it. But the one that's worth it, the 1, the 2, the 3 that are worth it. If all you need is to know how to negotiate a better salary, like significantly better salary and better benefits, that one session is worth the full price. So exodussummit.com is where you go to register, and early bird pricing ends on September 19th. September 19th is the last day for early bird pricing, and it's September 13th. I feel like I need to tell you that because I don't understand how it's September 13th, but it is. Okay. That's what my phone says. Okay. IJH says very inspired. Yeah, I got that part covered. Okay. You're inspired today. You don't come to Exodus Summit to be inspired. You come to Exodus Summit to take the first steps, to learn how to take the first steps, and sometimes even more than the first steps, right? You come to Exodus Summit to get progress. Women leave Exodus Summit with a plan for money, right? So that's what we want. Alicia said time is flying. I'm like, okay. They keep telling me. They keep telling me the date. I hardly never believe it. Rhonda White. Hi, Rhonda. Is there a session on obtaining visas? No. So this summit is only money. Listen, we do summits. So last year's summit was about a little bit of everything, right? Everything you need to move abroad. And y'all were like, I don't have money. This is not helpful because I don't have the money to go. This summit is only money. Now, if you need other support, if you need support on getting visas abroad, if you need support on getting a plan for your child or your parent or someone, another person who you have to plan for this move abroad, if you need support on what do I do with my house and all my stuff, if you need that kind of support, Exodus ASAP is our membership. It's monthly, so it's always there, and you can jump in and jump out and get that support when you need it at exodusasap.com. That's why you see that bundle, the Exodus Summit. When you go to exodussummit.com, you'll see the weekend pass, the all access pass, and then the bundle, which is all access pass plus membership in Exodus ASAP, right? Because listen, last year we taught everything, and y'all were like, I need money. I need money. And so we're bringing in some Black women powerhouses, some Black women experts is beyond not the word because, powerhouses I think is more suitable. We're bringing in some Black women to get you the money. Okay. Now, if let's say you're retired and you're like, I don't need the money, or you have the money. All right. If you don't see a session in Exodus Summit 2025 that you're interested in, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you being like, oh, I don't need money. I'm not going to be there. That's good. I love to see it. I love to see listen, when we get on one-on-one calls or inside of the ASAP membership or whatever, and I talk to a Black woman about her move abroad plan, and I'm like, now, are you at all concerned with money? And she says, no. I'm like, yes, I love to hear that. That's the answer I want to hear. I want to hear that for all of us. One day that will be the answer for all of us. I ain't worried about the money. I got that covered. Check, cross it off, scratch it out. I don't need that. That's the plan. That's the goal. But Exodus Summit 2025, more move abroad money will help some of you get to that point. I love that. When she'd be like, oh no, I ain't worried about the money. Okay, girl. I love it. So if that's you, you already have the money because of whatever, your investments, your alimony, your retirement and social security, whatever. If the money is good, this summit may not be. You may not find a session in Exodus Summit 2025 that you want to attend. Now, if there is still one on the list that you want to attend, it's worth the full price of the summit. You only need one. Maybe it's YouTube, right? Maybe you don't need YouTube to make money, but you do want YouTube to be a place where you go out and create community and share things. Join us. You're welcome to join us. Okay? You're welcome. Okay, I'm looking in the chat. Okay. CK says Exodus Summit is Black women learning from Black women. There's always something to learn. Okay, always. I agree with that. Our Black women love to come and talk and teach inside of the Exodus Summit community because often they don't get an opportunity to just teach Black women and just give Black women the toolkit. Right? No, we don't get that a lot of times in the world. We got to do it for everybody. And then other people are talking over the Black women in the space or disregarding the Black women, right? And then we got to try to stay calm. This is not that. It's a wonderful environment. So I'm excited. It's not much longer. So there is still a call for speakers. If while I was talking, you were like, you know what? This is the thing I want to teach Black women how to do to make money. Holler at us. I'm going to tell you a thing that Rashida, I don't know if there is a session that I think we don't have in Exodus Summit 2025 that we should have. And we don't have it because no one has pitched it and we haven't been able to find the person to teach it. No, I'm not going to say it. Okay, wait. Because she told me on Monday to do what? Oh, no, disregard. Okay, if tomorrow is the last day, I believe, for you to holler, maybe Monday. I don't know the last day I can say it? Okay, she said I can say it. Y'all can see that, right? Okay, because she's going to gaslight me tomorrow. Okay, the session we should have in this summit that we don't have is what I just told you I did when I didn't have to come back and get a job in the pharmacy. And that session is virtual assistant. We don't have a virtual assistant who is making money as a virtual assistant who can teach inside of Exodus Summit how to be a virtual assistant. And I think that is a problem, because I think that is a path, because that was my pathway. I think that is a pathway for some of you right here today. Your skill set is doing some behind the scenes work for someone, right? For me, it was making lead magnets and landing pages. I love to make a good PDF. I'm making your PDF, and then I'm going to make the sign up page for your PDF. We don't have a speaker on being a virtual assistant, and I think that's a problem. And I think maybe one of you is or knows someone who can teach that session. Lenore, I'm already teaching YouTube, and then I'm also going to teach an extra session on house sitting, because house sitting, even though it's not money, it's kind of money. It's as money as anything other money. So my plate is full. My plate is full. Oh, Life with Kara. I'm a VA agency owner, relocated from Indiana in the Dominican Republic. Okay, email hello@exodussummit.com. There's an actual formal call for speakers. If you go to my LinkedIn, my name is Stephanie Perry, Perry. If you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see a call for speakers, a formal call for speakers. Also, if you're in the Exodus Summit community, exodussummit.com/community, you'll see the formal call for speakers. We also emailed it out. If you get our email list, we emailed that out. Cara, friend, please, if you're available October 11th through 13th to teach virtual assistant work, how to start, how to become a virtual assistant and make your first dollars. If you're available that weekend, would you please email hello@exodussummit.com. There's a formal call for speakers, which says, here are the things that we need. You can find the formal call for speakers on LinkedIn. My name is Stephanie Perry. You might have to put in Stephanie Perry, Bogota, Colombia, because everybody's named Stephanie Perry. I have one of the most common names in the world, but you'll see my face. It's me. There, you'll find it there. I'm in the community. Okay. Oh, good, Kara. Then email. We've already emailed out a call for speakers, and we've posted the call for speakers in the community. So there, you'll see it. Holler at us, please. I feel like that is a thing that once that session is set up in Exodus Summit, I can just sit back, right, and know that Black women will get out the door. Once that session is set up, I can sit back and know that Black women will get their move abroad money, because it's the thing that I did. And it was good. Right? I don't do virtual assistant work anymore, but kind of I do. I'm kind of Rashida's VA in Exodus. So I feel like that is a session that we're missing, that we need. If I could tab, I would make sure that I could see, but I feel like I did a decent job. If you go to exodussummit.com, you'll see the speakers that we have signed up and contracts for now. And you'll see more speakers added throughout the week, because Friday, we want to have the majority of these sessions locked down by Friday, because that's the end of the early bird pricing. And those of you with early bird tickets, some of you bought a ticket without knowing anybody who was going to be a speaker, except for probably me and Rashida and Adalia, right? Some of you bought the tickets then because you have faith in the Exodus Summit team, and you know what we do. You know how every year we deliver, more like our speakers. Every year our speakers deliver. You already know that. But we know that some of you are like, I need to see some sessions for me before I'm buying my ticket. And we want to make sure that that's the case before Friday. So over the next few days at exodussummit.com, you'll see more and more sessions pop up. Okay. Yeah, Professor LCH says, I bought that ticket immediately. Yeah, some of you, because if you've come to an Exodus Summit before, you already know. And so it's no surprise, it's no mystery that most of the early bird tickets so far have been people who have already attended an Exodus Summit. But That's because we're just announcing speakers. And I didn't even tell you who our keynote speaker was. Rashida and I announced our keynote speaker yesterday on the Exodus Summit YouTube channel. I'm not going to tell you who it is. Okay. You have to go watch or go to the website. Go to exodussummit.com. Okay. All right. I can't scroll. This is so hard. Y'all don't know how hard. But at least if it was going to be a day when I had no functionality, at least I don't have a guest and I don't have to be like, you know, apologetic. Nisi, Nisi Dunn says, my chat GPT recommended plugging into Exodus Summit to avoid American fascism. I love it and I hate it at the same time. We don't put our stuff on into AI. We don't put Exodus Summit stuff into AI. We don't feed it in there because we don't want it to steal our stuff. But also, we want it to send Black women to us. So thanks, ChatGPT. Thank you. Did I say her name? I said I wasn't going to say the keynote. And then did I say her name anyway? I might have. It may be possible. It's possible. That is quite possible. I am a person who has ruined many a surprise. When I was in the Army, I knew that my coworker's mom was a major. I knew part of her last name. She had a hyphenated last name. I didn't know that, but I knew my coworker's name. So I knew her mom was a major in the Army. What part of my job for a little bit in the Army was to go meet the planes flights. So when someone was injured in like the Middle East, someone was injured in Iraq, we had soldiers everywhere. But when someone was injured, they often had to go to Germany to a medical center before they could be flown back to their base, back to Fort Hood, which used to be called Fort Hood. Name changed, but I think the name is changing back, whatever. And we used to take turns, the pharmacy technicians used to take turns going and meeting that plane full of injured soldiers who were a lot of times in really bad mental shape. We would take their narcotics from them. They got to fly with like Xanax and stuff to keep them calmer from Germany to Texas. And I would have to go meet that plane and take the Xanax out of their hands because they weren't allowed to keep it and whatever. And I hated doing that. I hated, everybody in the pharmacy took turns doing that. We hated going to meet that plane. It was nice to leave the hospital and go outside for a few hours, but you had to take Xanax out of the hands of messed up soldiers. And one day on the plane, there's this woman who looks so beautiful, and she's not one of them. She was just gorgeous. And I see her name tag, and she has the same last name, and she's the major. This is my coworker's mother. My coworker was pregnant. And I'm like, I know your daughter. No, that's not what happened. I saw her name. I did my job and I left without talking to her. I just said, hello, ma'am. But I didn't talk to her. I go back to the hospital and I say, Tamisha, I just saw your mom. And she's like, no, you didn't. I said, I just saw your mom. I went to the flight, took the stuff. Your mom was on that flight. And she was like, where? Take me. I put her on my little Corvette and we drive out there. She goes flying out of the car. Mommy. And her mom was like, how did you know I was here? I'm here surprising you for your baby shower. Why are you here? This is a surprise. You're not supposed to be here. I have ruined many a surprise in my day. That is how I do things. It's genetic. Connie Perry also, okay, it's genetic. She was like, Tamisha didn't know there was a baby shower. She didn't know. Because another thing is I don't put two and two together. I didn't connect the dots that her mom was here to surprise her for her shower. I don't do that. There's something missing. I don't connect the dots. I saw your mom. I tell her I saw your mom. I drive her to her mom. And her mom was like, go back to work. Your husband Tamisha's husband arranged for her to all of this. And here I go ruin it. Yeah, I had a little Corvette. Oh, I was I was the it girl. Okay. I was, well, me and Katrina. Okay. We ran Fort Hood. Katrina and I were Fort Hood's it girls. Okay. Yes. I had me a little Corvette with a T top. Take the top was removable. Yeah, I get it from her. I get it from her. Um, she was still a surprise. The plan says, okay, but she was still surprised. It was still a surprise. Then I go back and everybody else was like, when you as soon as you said that, I was like, why did she say that? And I was like, well, you should have stopped me. Why did you stop me? I think so that was Tamisha, and I think Valerie. A lot of us were black. I think Valerie, she was like, I was like, what is she doing? I was like, well, somebody should have told me. I had an electric blue Corvette. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. We were the it girls on Fort Hood. We ran that place. Okay. So, Exodus Summit, we've talked about that. Gail said, I'm not a refrigerator. I can't keep nothing. We talked about your cost of living. If you've not written down what your current cost of living is, I think that's a good place to start. Writing down your current cost of living so that when you start researching what your future cost of living might be, you have a comparison. And so that when you come to Exodus Summit, you have an idea how much money you want to make. Rashida often says, and I agree with this, that one of the a thing, a measure or a number, a figure. Let's say this. Rashida often says that a figure you can use to determine what your full cost of living might be abroad is what is your housing expense where you are. If you don't live in a particularly, if you live in Louisville, Mississippi, right? If you live in Louisville, Mississippi, this number might not work. But if you live in other parts of the country, you may find that you can live your full life for the cost of your housing expense where you are today. Unless you, well, you know, some of you know your housing expense is really low, right? On the other hand, some of you will keep your same cost of living. You're just going to elevate your life. People don't like the word elevate, but I love the word elevate. I'll elevate me. Okay. You see this? Elevated. Elevate me. Right. So my cost of living is probably the same as it would be if I was in Delaware. If I had my own home in Delaware, not if I was living with my parents. All right. You can't get cheaper than that. But elevating my life at the same cost of living has been fan freaking tastic. I recommend that. Right? Elevate. People that you know how people find words that they don't like. Elevate is a word people don't like. I believe this is the cashmere blend scarf. It feels good, right? It feels really good. Elevate my life for the same money, right? You talking about I get a doctor to do a house call when I feel sick instead of waiting in a waiting room with other making other people sick and getting what they got on top of what I already got? Elevate my life. My $1,800 insurance policy gave me a house call with a doctor who sat on the sofa beside me, went through everything I was taking, gave me other stuff to take, told me what to stop taking. Elevate me. We deserve. So for some of you, the cost of living, that calculation of how much do I spend on housing today? I think I can live my full month on that amount. That's one approach. Another approach is I'm gonna keep it. It might stay close to the same, but I want my life to feel elevated, right? She got a facialist. I make a list. Rashida is my rich life mentor. She's my rich lady mentor. She's got a facialist. She's got the I think the pedicure lady still comes to the house, right? She still gets pedicures in her house. Elevate me. Life in the United States is not easy. Life in the United States is harmful. life in the United States is killing us. And there is work that we need to have done for us, to us, on us, in us, to repair some of that damage. Some of this elevated life stuff, some of it is to repair the damage so that we can go and be whole. Right? It's not, it doesn't have to be for a reason, but if you need a reason, that's a reason. Because you come from a country that is actively harming you every minute of every day. And you need some form of restoration. You want to be healed and whole. Elevate me. Okay? Ashley says that makes so much sense. Okay. Thanks, Ashley. Okay. So I think because my guest wasn't able to come today, I don't know that I actually did. I don't, it would have been better with her. So we'll reschedule. It would have been better with her. But I hope that you at least have some thoughts percolating in your brain about what the real cost of living could be for you to leave. And that, therefore, what is the real cost of staying? And I've pointed you to some resources, including Exodus Summit 2025. Okay? Now, at this juncture, we're at a crossroads. Do I just end this live stream because I can't use my chat? Or do we keep talking? And if so, what do we talk about? Is there anything that restoration. Some of this is that, right? I'm not saying you need to have a reason and you need to have a sad story to be able to enjoy a good life, because clearly you don't. Plenty of people out here enjoying a good life without hardships. That's true, right? Not no hardships. Nobody's life is hardship free, but probably somebody, right? It doesn't have to be. But if you do need a reason to focus on this, if you do need a reason to elevate your life and your family's life going forward, if you do need a reason, your country is the reason. That country you're in right now, that country you're living in right now, that's the reason. That's the reason to take this seriously. Rebloom room, cat, keep talking. Okay, I can. I can do it. Greenstone says, I can't wait to leave. I feel lost and exhausted. Get a plan and execute the plan. If you're struggling, not struggling, if the plan is not falling into place, into your lap, get support. Exodus Summit, the community exists to give you that support. ExodusSummit.com/community. We moved off of Facebook. We're in a new place. It does cost $1 because the new place is not free. We have to pay for it every month, and we have to pay for more moderation, more moderators. So it does cost $1 one time, not $1 a month, not $1 a year, just $1 to join the Exodus Summit community. ExodusSummit.com/community. Join the Exodus Summit community. Get your plan together. Sometimes Black women find their plan just falls into their lap, right? Again, I love it for them, okay? For some of you, you need some support. The Exodus Summit community is there to give you that support. On October 4th, worldwide, we're meeting up. When you get in community with other women who have normalized this approach, this place is harmful, I'm picking up and I'm leaving, right? When you get in community with other women who've normalized that approach, things work better. Things work better. And so at October 4th, we're doing Exodus Summit meetups all over the world. Yes, in Bogota, Colombia. If you're interested in moving to Bogota and scouting it out, that would be a nice time for you to come, right? Or if you're close by, a couple of women in Medellin are coming. Alfreda's in Panama City. She's coming, right? But if find a meetup either in a place you're interested in going or in the place you're in right now, so you can meet Exodus Summit women and you can hear what they're doing. Every time I go to a meetup, I'm like, that is a good idea. That's so smart. That's brilliant. I told you in the New York meetup, I met the woman who, I can't remember who it was, somebody. And I think it was somebody I know. I don't remember who told me this. You know, in meetups, it's a lot of talking. Who is it lives in Rwanda and comes back to the US to work. I think she's a nurse, comes back to the US to work several shifts, like several weeks or months of shifts, and then she goes back to Rwanda. Rashida said, I'm really gonna have y'all living in Bogota. I think if you're from the Bay, I'm gonna say this. I think if you're from the Bay Area and you or the Pacific Northwest, you're not gonna have any qualms with this weather. Would you agree with that, Rashida? I think that most women who came to Bogota, their beef would be with the weather. But if you're from the Bay Area, from Pacific Northwest, or you just dream of living in a misty environment, you're gonna love it. Come on down. I said, did I finish what I was saying before though? What was I saying? The something and meetups. Okay. Go to exodussummit.com/community. Look at the October 4th meetups that are being set up and go to one. Go to one. Okay. Looking right now. Yeah, it's nice. How's dating here? I don't know. I haven't dated here. I will say that unlike Costa Rica and Mexico, you do see men out by themselves. You do see, I'm in the financial district of Bogota, but I think, I don't know everything about this city, but I think there's bank headquarters here. You do be seeing men walking out by themselves. In Costa Rica, like men would, I don't know how you meet men in Costa Rica, except for apps, I guess. I couldn't figure out how you would meet a man in Costa Rica. Whereas in Bogota, I think you would just meet a man by going outside. Now, they don't really holler. It's not like, this ain't Paris, okay? They're not just going to be like, bonjour, ma jolie. That's how they do you in Paris. You be walking down the street and they just be like, oh, I would like to do dancing with you. This ain't Paris. They are a little more reserved for Colombians. They're more reserved in Bogota, slightly. But I think you could find single available men if I had hobbies, I would find that it would be better than Costa Rica, is what I'll say. Okay. Kat, so you just go to, in the new community, in the sidebar, she said she couldn't find the meetups. In the sidebar, just go to you're in San Miguel. There's probably a San Miguel section. If not, then it would be Mexico. Mexico is divided up by, I don't know how Mexico. So, and go to one of the Mexico sections and see if someone has planned a meetup. If no one has planned a meetup for your part of Mexico, then just make one. We just announced this yesterday, so I don't know how many meetups have been organized since we announced this. There is a Central Mexico section. Okay. Rashida says, go to Central Mexico. If there's not one organized yet, go ahead and organize it. Right? Just pick a date. We know the date, October 4th. Pick a location and a time, and they'll join you. They'll join you. So Rashida said yesterday, go to a meetup where you live. And I would like to add, or if you have the time, go to a meetup where you want to live. One of those. Or go to a meetup where you're going to be, right? I just talked to Dee from H&D Abroad, and she's going to be somewhere else traveling for work. Go to a meetup where you're going to be something. Go to a meetup. Meeting women inside of this community is the difference maker. It's why we do so many in-person things. You can come to Exodus Summit and learn from the speakers. You can join the community and get and receive information. I think the accountability buddy is the thing that gets you over the hump, right? That's why we do all of these things together. That's why Exodus Summit is all of these things. Because like when I go to meetups, those women have made so much progress. I will never forget those New York City meetups. I had 2 meetups back to back on the same day. And the women were like, doing like their progress reports. So when I go to a meetup, women just like to tell me their progress, right? That even though we're just supposed to be chatting, their progress reports are phenomenal. Same with the Texas squad, the Exodus meetups in Texas. When you go to there, the reports, the progress is just phenomenal. There is something power boosting about having people on your side. I don't know if they get actual help from people, right? Because most of the women are still there. If we're at the Texas meetup, most of the women are still in Texas. But there is something that gives you a power boost about being with other women who are working on this same thing. And it's hard to get like an accountability buddy or something out in the world when people don't even understand why you're doing this in the first place. When they don't, why would you leave the greatest country in the world? We forgot to talk about college education. When I told you about the nursery price, the daycare price, I was supposed to also tell you about college education price, but I couldn't get to the screen to read the numbers. But countries with free or low cost college education are also a way that you're going to make your money back. Whether you're a Black woman interested in your own, furthering your own education, or you have family members at the college education level of life, point of life. College education or education period is another place where you're going to earn your money back. Your move abroad money, you're going to earn it back through education, through healthcare, through elevated living. Okay. Okay. Gail says she just found her email. You're welcome. Cat, Rebloom Room. Cats, I don't know. Francis, are you here? Francis is can you ask Kat, can you type that in the section that's for Francis, the admin team section? Ask her about that, please, if you don't mind. Listen, Francis, one thing about me, I like to do as little as possible, okay? Francis is in charge of the community. Francis is in charge of the community. If she says yes to that, then yes to that. Putting events, Kat's asking, can we put the events in the events section also, not just in the section for the thing? I probably. I'm not going to say yes because I'm not going to be the one who does it. So probably yes. And Francis, if you ask her, she'll do it. But probably listen, Francis got them twin niece and nephews, and her weekends are occupied. Okay, she be like, I'm too much information, too much. If she doesn't see it, if she's not in there today, she'll see it on Monday. Is the answer, Kat? Okay, if she doesn't answer today and do it today, she will see the answer, see it, and do it on Monday for y'all. Okay. Yeah, Nick's Tricks 84. Napoleon Hill called that tapping into the collective spiritual energies, like being in a mastermind group. I believe in that because I've seen it, right? I don't go to a meetup where they've met up before. Sometimes in meetups, it's the first time they've gotten together. I think the Las Vegas meetup that I went to was the first time they'd met. But anytime I go to a meetup where some of these women have gotten together before, the progress is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Like report after report after report. I probably talked to 50 women between those two New York City meetups. And what they've done is phenomenal. Like living somewhere already and coming back and forth, like having a new job or starting a business so that they have the money to do the thing. Just phenomenal. The link is, Jaleesa, the link is exodussummit.com/community. I apologize that I can't type anything here, but that's what it is. If you come back, if you go there and something's not working, right? You don't spell it right or whatever. After the video, I'll try to figure out how to fix this and type it. Oh, my phone. Listen, I know I always tell y'all don't tell me what to do, but somebody could have told me that I could just use my phone for the chat. I know when you tell me what to do, I say, don't tell me what to do. But this is the time when somebody could have told me, Stephanie, just type in the chat on your phone. But this is the time. We're hour 44 in on this bad boy. Okay. Exodus Summit. Oh, maybe I need to copy and paste it from my notes because, or either that or put my glasses on. Okay. Look at this. Phone working just fine. I know I have said a time or two, don't tell me what to do. But this one particular time, I would have appreciated it. I don't know how you're supposed to know that. How are you supposed to know? I don't know the answer to that. But I'm sorry that I didn't think about that sooner. Paste. Okay. This is the link to join the Exodus Summit community. I just put that in the chat, exodussummit.com/community. I'm going to go ahead and link to my new house sitter toolkit because I was asked for that earlier. And I know it's a strange link. It's long. I'll drop that in here. And then I'm going to also drop the link to Exodus Summit 2025 to get your tickets, exodussummit.com. Look at that. Phone working. Paste. Okay. Links in the chat. Links in the chat. I know I paid for anti-reflective lenses. I know I did, but look at that. You can see all my neighbors' apartments. I know that's what I paid for. Can you do it later? Can you take your glasses in later and get something done so that they're not reflective? Because I know that's one of the things I selected, but it's definitely not what I got. Look, you can see there's my spotlight, my thing, my ring light. You can see my desk lamp, and then you can see every single apartment. Let's see. This one right here, those are the people that wave to me every morning. That apartment right there, every morning when I lift my shade in my bedroom, they're sitting at their, not every morning, a couple times a week, they're sitting at their dining room table. Maybe like, so you think I can go back and add it? Okay. Because I need it. For things like this, you don't want to be, it's not terrible to be on camera with a reflective thing. But if I could undo it, I would like to undo it. Yeah, it's very sweet. Jamie King says that's sweet. It's very sweet. My door, I told the story on Instagram. My sliding door in my dining room, I have a 2-story apartment. My sliding door on my dining room is dusty and the housekeeper hasn't started yet because I'm about to leave and I didn't start a housekeeper yet. And so I'm like, I'm not cleaning this sliding glass door. I know I'm not. I know that about me. Okay. I'm not cleaning this sliding glass door. So I just took 2 fingers and drew a big old heart. So I think that made my neighbors think uh, we like her across the street. They're all the way across the street. But a couple of times a week when I'm raising my shades, they're having breakfast in their little robes. They have matching robes. And they be like this. Yes. So that's life in Bogota, right? If y'all's neighbors are not that, maybe you would consider moving to Bogota, right? My doorman, I didn't know how to pay my gas bill. He handed me the gas bill. I didn't know I had a mailbox downstairs. So I guess it had been sitting in the mailbox for a day or two. So when I walked in, he handed me my gas bill. And then I was like, but how do I pay it? He turned it over and he showed me the different grocery stores where you can pay it. And he showed me the different apps. So there's many like Cash App and Zelle. There are many versions of that here. Each bank has their own version too. But, I don't know how to do that. So he pointed to, there's 3 or 4 different grocery stores. So, he helped me. That's the security guard. Right. Okay. So Thank you. Have a good day, Suzanne. Sharon says you're envious that I can do my computer without glasses. Yeah, because my vision, I can see at more than an arm's length. I can see until you get like two arms. I can basically see from one arm's length to two arms lengths only. After that, I can't see nothing. I can't see up close. I can't see far away. Um, I think I plugged in my TV when I was sick, and so I've been watching TV more often than normal. These glasses are progressives, and so I need to get some glasses that are not progressives because I can only watch TV like at this, right? I want to be able to just look normal and watch my TV, but it's not at the right distance. So I need to get a second pair of glasses just for TV purposes. But the computer is the right amount of distance, right? I have the arm's length. It's more than an arm's length away. So that's where my vision is at 51. From one arm's length to two arms length, perfect. I see everything. More than two arms length, I don't see it. I don't see it. But I don't wear my glasses. I tried, like when I go out for a walk, I try to wear my glasses every other time. But I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to become a full time glasses wearer because it's nice to have things out of focus. It's really nice to not have to see everything. I don't want all that detail and information. I don't care about all that, right? I don't want all of that. Whatever. Cat's most recent electric bill was 13 pesos. I think 50 pesos is a dollar. Is that or 20 pesos is a dollar? You got me beat. You got me beat. I paid my little gas bill $3.80, I think, for gas. And I cook a decent amount of time here now in this new place. I'm trying to first of all, the restaurant food is not, they don't season the food like I want. So I'm gonna have to recook it anyway. So I've done a decent job of cooking a meal. At least, like I think once a week, I've at least cooked a meal for 3 or 4 days. So my gas was $3.87 for the month. The first month it was the first month I didn't move in. I didn't move in on July 1st. So the first month it was like $2. Yeah, DL Ross. I think the same thing with my brain. I don't want to focus too hard on life. I put on my glasses when I focus. Oh, I put on my glasses when I focus on going overseas. Yeah, I just don't want to see everything. You don't need everything. That's all information and details. I don't need to see all of that. I don't need to see it all the time. I like my brain to not do things. Yeah, bring your seasonings with you, Nisi. Okay, bring them with you. Your Old Bay, your whatever you use, your Creole seasonings, whatever you use, bring it with you. They do believe in herbs, but not spices in Bogota. They do herbs, but they don't do spices. And they don't do a lot of salt. I read that because it's so high altitude, our taste buds are affected also. So I don't know if I'm just not tasting the seasoning that they're putting on the food, but I add my own. So if I do buy something, like when I buy a chicken at the grocery store, I basically recook the chicken. So I'm trying to just cook the stuff myself, save a little bit of extra money by making it myself. I got time. I have time. I just don't enjoy cooking. I enjoy cooking breakfast. I don't know what that is. I enjoy cooking breakfast, right? I don't care. Pancakes, scrambled eggs or omelet, oatmeal, French toast, whatever. I enjoy quiche. I'll make a quiche in a minute, right? I enjoy cooking breakfast. But for some reason, the rest of the meals, I don't enjoy it. But here, it makes more sense for now. When it's just me, for now, it makes more sense to do a little more cooking than than not. Because, I'm gonna want it to taste good. I'm gonna want it to taste good. Okay, good. Donna's headed to the From Passion to Profit Workshop? Good. What time is that? Okay, good. I talked to Roshni, who is Glamazini, and Marissa Price on my channel earlier this week, and they're hosting a session, a workshop called From Passion to Profit that helps. It's a branding and yeah, branding workshop. If you are a person with a business and you feel like you're not getting yourself out there, you're not putting yourself out into the world, their workshop is today. Kat says, I'm not mad. I cook pretty much every day. Every meal every day? But do you not have but you have leftovers, right? You cook every meal every day? Or do you just mean every meal that you eat every day is something that you cooked? I get it. Um I think if I did that, I would be a healthier person, right? Because when I don't cook and I don't order food, I eat Captain Crunch for dinner, right? So I would be a healthier person. Nobody was made to live on Captain Crunch and Tostitos. Uh, but I don't know. I feel like there are people who get joy in who find joy in cooking. And because I feel better when I cook, I feel the joy when I cook breakfast. I really like cooking breakfast. I don't know why I don't feel that when I cook anything else. Anything else, even dessert. I love desserts, but I don't really enjoy the act of making a dessert. I would rather buy it, right? Bring me a brownie. The joy is in eating. See, Snow, the joy is in eating. There's joy in eating, but I don't know. I think my dad enjoys cooking, and my mom, at times, my mom enjoys cooking certain things. My dad enjoys cooking, and he enjoys burning the food. He gonna burn it up. He thinks burnt is done. I shouldn't say no. I love my dad. I'm not talking bad about him. He's never been on the channel to defend himself, so I shouldn't be talking bad about him. But I think he enjoys cooking because, like, even if there's food in the house, he'll go to the grocery store, buy something, and bring it in and cook it if that's what he wants. And I would never. If there's food here, even if it's not what I want, I'm eating it before I go cook something else. So I don't know. I don't have that. I don't have that joy except for breakfast. My little six. I make maybe six different things for breakfast, and I look forward to it. Right? I'm like using my vanilla extract in my batter. Make my pancake batter with vanilla extract. Right? I had pancakes probably twice this week, and I've had some mornings that had some relatively early starts. So she and I had one day where we started at 9:30, which is early for me. Okay, we had one day. Now that I say it out loud, it wasn't that early, but it felt early. We had one day where I had to be like on camera at 9:30. And another day. I think I had 2 days with like 9:30, 10 a.m. starts, and I still made my breakfast, right? I love pancakes and making the pancakes and the French toast. I think I prefer my own breakfast to going out to breakfast, unless it's something fancy. Unless they're going to do something really fancy, I'd rather just make my own pancakes or French toast or um, scrambled eggs and bacon and whatever. I can't find bacon here. Are y'all okay with this just rambly conversation? I can't find good bacon here. Not at the butcher shop, not at the grocery store. None of it tastes like anything. It's the same cut of pig, but I guess more bacon seasoning comes from how they season the meat. Because even the bacon fat, after you cook the bacon, I save bacon fat because I like to cook other. If I'm cooking something relatively vegetarian or vegan, I like to cook it in bacon fat for flavor, right? So let's say I was going to make pasta, but with no meat. I'm going to use some bacon fat in the sauce, right? But whatever they do to the bacon here, the bacon fat is just one thing. You know how usually bacon grease, there's things in the bacon grease. It's just plain. And when I reuse it, it tastes like nothing. I reused it for probably some pasta. I reused it sometime. tasted like nothing. So I'm having a hard time. Loretta, to pitch to speak at Exodus Summit, look at the call for speakers. If you go to LinkedIn, go to my Stephanie Perry. If you type in Stephanie Perry on LinkedIn and look for me, there's a call for speakers. One of my very most recent post, I believe, has all the information you need. Or if you go to exodussummit.com/community, if you're in the Exodus Summit community, the call for speakers is in there as well. That one was posted by Francis. And then the email was sent out. If you already receive Exodus Summit emails, the email was sent out Tuesday. I don't know. Look for an email from hello@exodussummit.com. You got me. Chatting is so fun. Okay, good. Will you get a personal chef when you start co-living? Yeah, if there's more than me here, yes. I think that there are food prep people. So I don't know. Yeah, either a meal prep person, somebody to do the meal prep, and I just warm it up or heat it up or whoever's here, or something. Yeah. Oh no, that's the opposite of what I wanted to do. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a chef, a personal chef. I don't know if it'll be somebody who does meal prep and delivery, but somebody. Yes, the answer is yes. Kat says maybe tastes like nothing means it's just tastes like fewer chemicals. No, because I've been other places. No, it really tastes like nothing. No, I've been other places. I've had bacon around the world. This is just the most flavorless bacon. No, I don't think it's that. I think they just don't do anything to it. You got to do something to the pig. They just don't do anything to it. She says, try prosciutto. I got salami in the fridge right now. But it's not breakfast, right? It don't, bacon says breakfast. Now I'm from Delaware. I also like scrapple. I like a good piggy. I like a good piggy, swiney, porky breakfast. So I'm gonna play around, I'm gonna try a couple of different butcher shops. So they have like a butcher shop chain called Kosher, something like that. I'm gonna try. No, it's not kosher. Something. I'm gonna try another. See if I can find a regular butcher shop instead of that chain. That's his butcher shop chain. See if I can find a regular butcher shop. I'm not gonna give up on the bacon. And then I may just have to go to Price Smart. Price Smart is kind of like a Costco friend. It's like a friend of Costco. And I can probably get American bacon there. I don't know what it would cost today, but I can probably get you see Smithfield and the other one all over the world. So I can African Queen Roots talking about what about turkey bacon, girl? I think if I'm complaining about the pork bacon not having flavor, I don't want no turkey bacon. I think you next thing y'all are gonna be pointing me to chicken bacon. I think y'all know that. Now I would rather have no bacon than turkey bacon. Cure ham and with cure you cure ham and bacon with salt. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just I've been all over the world, y'all know, and I've had bacon all over the world, and this is the first time where I'm like, I cannot find good bacon. It's often not the first bacon you try, right? You go to their grocery store, you try a few different brands of bacon. I do. But here, I just cannot find a bacon that tastes like anything. Feel sorry for me, please. So I think I can go to the Price Smart and find a US brand of bacon. Nichelle, Smithfield bacon tastes way different now. My grandfather's family is from Smithfield, Virginia. I grew up on that bacon and ham. Tastes very different. Yeah. Everybody's cutting corners. Everybody. Plus, what they feed animals is very different from what it used to be. I was running down a list the other day of ways that my body would have different stuff in it than my mom's, right? When my mom was a girl, they got milk and even drank soda from glass. My body, I've been on plastic, right? Since the baby bottle, I've been ingesting things from plastic, right? Microplastics all up in me. But also, one of the differences is what our animals eat is different from what animals used to eat. On farms, they used to feed chicken food or like whatever chickens ate, seeds and grass and whatever, marigolds. Now everything eats corn, right? Cows used to eat grass and whatever it is that cows eat out in the world, and now cows eat corn. So what our food eats has changed our food as well. Everything is different. We've ruined some things. We really, the United States in particular, really let a handful of industries just ruin things and ruin our lives. A handful of industries, right? The automobile and the gas industry, those cities in Europe are what could be. This city, this Bogota, is what a city could be. Every little neighborhood has everything you need, everything is connected. Instead, the highways to separate and segregate people and to make you pay for gas just ruin things. The insurance industry also, just a handful of industries, not that many, a handful of industries really ruined what could have been, all to be racist and capitalist, right? All just to make more money and be more racist. That's the theme. That's what happened when you leave. Rashida and I just talked on the Exodus Summit YouTube channel. We did a video called Reflecting Black Women Reflecting on Our Decision to Leave the US for Latin America. That's what, when you leave, that's what you see. I'm not saying that these other countries aren't capitalist and don't make money and don't have industry, but that's the difference maker that you see. How much the United States sold out, is that the right? How much the United States sold out for $1. Because a walkable city is not too much to ask. Zoning that allows you to have businesses, grocery stores, jobs, and homes in the same few square blocks is not too much to ask. Everybody else does it. Everybody else does it. You can't walk half a block in Bogota without seeing someone living somewhere and a business, right? Businesses underneath the apartment buildings, businesses beside the apartment buildings. It's not too much to ask. But they were so afraid of having to live next to Black people that they put highways in between their own, they ruin their own lives. Anytime you leave the US and you go to these other places, you're like, oh, this is what it could have been, right? I don't mean to hold the Netherlands up to some wonderful place. It's just a country. And I only visited two cities in the Netherlands. One city and one suburb. But like their lives are better. They just hop on their bike and go to the store. Right? Their kids just ride bikes to the soccer field and go play soccer. But no, we couldn't have that in the United States. They were so afraid of Black people having some good time, having a good time. So afraid of Black people making a profit too. That is the thing that happens. That's one of the reasons that when women come to an Exodus Summit meetup or whatever, it's just really hard to go back. Spending any amount of time out of the US makes you more likely that you're going to leave. I'm not saying it makes it easier, but it makes it more likely because, like, what? It could be this. We could have a public transportation system that moves people from where they want to go to where they are. without fear that it's going to bring poor people into rich neighborhoods. We could just have public transportation that does that. Could have been. I guess never. No, I guess the United States never could have been a good place. Not based on the rotten foundation. Oh, Rashida's given me permission to talk about one more session that we don't have in Exodus Summit that we should have. Okay, another call for speakers. But do you mean, okay, we want a session, okay, a session that we don't have that would be really helpful to hundreds of women who are attending Exodus Summit 2025. A session on, but tell me what you mean, Rashida. Because we have the part-time work for full-time. I'm gonna let Rashida text me and tell me what she means. We have the session on part-time work for a full year's money, but you don't mean that. Okay. Cut off their nose to spite their face. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how you know they don't have any soul, any sense of decency. Because most people would at least want themselves to benefit. Gail says, thank you, Rashida. Okay, if you healthcare workers, put your ears on because Rashida is about to send out a call. She's about to tell you what we're looking for in the summit. Yeah, she's typing. Yeah, I feel like maybe it was never going to be. Maybe it was never meant to be in the United States because of the foundation. You can't steal the land and enslave people and then be a good place, no matter what. So maybe it was never meant to be. Although there could have been some reparation, right? Other countries were built on that foundation too and have made some effort towards reparation. So now I'm back to the first thought. It could have been. Here's what could have been. If they hadn't been so racist, hadn't been so adamant that they didn't owe anyone anything, that all of that money they earned, it could have been a good place. It really could have been. Okay. So Rashida and I agree that here's a session that we're missing in Exodus Summit 2025. If you would like to teach this session or you know someone who should teach this session to the women who are attending our summit, look for our call for speakers that has gone out and then holler at us, okay? We would like a session on getting away from bedside nursing, alternatives to using your nursing degree. Okay, we don't have a speaker for this session yet. We know someone knows someone, okay? This is a call that we've put out. Rashida has been manifesting shit like you would not believe, okay? So she is manifesting this session for you, for those of you who are in healthcare today and want to find your path out. So getting away from bedside nursing, please, okay? Alternatives for using that nursing degree. Thank you. Thank you, Rashida. Yeah, Chanel, United States, beautiful geography. Chanel says great geography, all sorts of weather and terrain. It's a beautiful country. I went to Yosemite National Park and Zion National Park. They're far apart. One is the white version of the other. Zion is reddish. Everything is red. Yosemite, everything is white. It's incredible. It's an incredibly beautiful place. We're talking about mountain ranges. I don't know. It may be the same mountain range. I don't know. But I don't think so. Two different mountain ranges, states and states away, look so similar in different colors. It's incredible. It's a beautiful country. The whitest sand I've ever seen in my life, and I've been to the Philippines. Whitest sand I've ever seen in my life was a little Clearwater, Florida. My eyes couldn't handle it. That sand was so white when the sun was so bright and the water was so blue. I couldn't handle it. My eyes were like Either we close these eyes, either you close them physically, or we're going to wash so many tears over them that you can't see anyway. That sand was so white. I haven't even been to the panhandle of Florida where they say the sand is even whiter. It was so white, the reflection. I've been to the Caribbean, right? That sand was so white, the sun reflected off of it. My eyes were like, no, you will be blind if you stay here. Auntie Eva says the leaves changing in the fall. Incredible. I remember when I went to Texas and then I came home. I was in the army. I was stationed in Texas and I came home. And I said to my mom, "Oh my gosh, I never realized how much that I would miss the leaves changing." And she was like, "Well, what did they do out there?" She'd never lived in a place where the leaves don't turn colors in the fall. In Texas, I was in Fort Hood, Texas. The leaves didn't change colors. And she'd never seen that. Never didn't know that this was a particular thing. We lived in Ohio, we lived in Delaware. And she was like, "Well, what do the leaves do there?" I was like, "Well, some of them turn brown and to fall off, and some of them just stick around." Right? Incredible. It's an incredible place. They knew what they were stealing. They stole the right one. They knew exactly what they were stealing. When they went in there and stole that land and killed them people, they had a purpose behind it. Oh, Candace says I got engaged in Clearwater. My eyes were like, listen, we can't handle this. This is too white. We can't take it. I've been to the Philippines. The Philippines, there's a couple of the top beaches in the world are in the Philippines. I've never seen sand like I saw in Clearwater. And they say that Panhandle is even whiter, even clearer. It's a beautiful place. Just rotten. Beautiful and rotten. I don't know. So after World War II, Germany was forced to be a better place, right? Germany was forced to no longer act like Germany. I don't know if there's any. Germany was also, even though Germany was a power, it was also a smaller place with a smaller population. I don't know. And especially after the war, right? After World War II. I don't know if the United States has any reason to do better, to get better. Not as long as the richest people benefit from it being terrible. Now, Rashida thinks the rich people aren't going to let it fail. Rashida believes that the rich people are not going to let the United States of America fail. I don't believe that because they can just pull their money out and put it someplace else. Invest their money in the whatever market, Nikkei. I don't believe that. She believes that. They're not going to let it fail. But without it failing, there's zero chance of it doing better, right? There's zero chance of a rebound, or I think, without it failing, there's zero chance. It can just stay as raggedy as it is. Well, Rashida says they won't let the stock markets fail, but the country itself, they don't care. Can the country fail without the stock market failing? I don't know. I'm a house sitter. I just be thinking about things. I'm a house sitter. It's a shame. It could have been. So imagine if, I'm watching the series, not the Netflix series, the Apple TV series about Hawaii. And you see like the possibilities, what could have happened years ago, in college. One of a research paper that I did was on how the Dole Corporation, acting as the U.S. government, annexed Hawaii, right? Leleokalani was the princess. Her Kamehameha died. One of the Kamehamehas died. His daughter Leleokalani was the ruler. And the Dole Corporation annexed Hawaii. annexed, right? Acting as the US government. And right now we're there in the story. I'm 2 weeks behind on the series. We're right there in the story. And you can see what could have been. So let's do business with Hawaii. Why do you need to take it over? Here's what could have been. Or you could have just let them mind their business. Right? You could have just minded your business with Hawaii. What could have been? You see, right? It's interesting. But I don't know. Well before I was born, somebody wrote in the book, "The love of money is the root of all evil." And man, if generation after generation after generation after generation, we don't see that. Greed. There's no end to it. There's no end to greed. You can run out of other things. Chief of War. Thank you, Octavia. That's what I'm watching. Chief of War. I'm behind 2 weeks. I'm parsing it out. I watched like the first four right away. And then I was like, no, I don't want this to end. So let me watch one here, one a week. So I'm behind 2 weeks. Have to have everything. I also just finished an audiobook about Afrofuturism. That Afrofuturism is in the art and literature space, or art, you know how to say art and literature. In the world of art, Afrofuturism considers, imagines a world where Black or Afro Black people were not the subject of colonization. And so you see stories about what could have been. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it ever could have been. Because there are bad people. And they were always going to want to take over, want to steal, want to destroy. It was always going to happen, no matter who it was. It was always, somebody was always going to do that. Alana says the U.S. empire is failing as a world leader, no longer able to punish other countries with sanctions. Except that the U.S. just killed them people on that boat for no reason, with no cause, with no recourse, no repercussions. I don't know. Even if the U.S. they just killed them people on that boat, and nobody said a word. A fishing boat, and nobody said a word. I don't know. Repercussions will come. I don't know. Nobody said a word. Nobody seemed to even. Oh, and then no. The y'all's president organized the meetup and then killed the people in the meetup. I don't even know if y'all heard that on the news. I don't even, seriously. Sometimes I look at stuff and I'll be like, because Yahoo, I'm in Colombia, right? Yahoo tells me stuff, and I'm like, y'all's news didn't even report this to y'all. Organized the meetup in Qatar. Was it Qatar? And then had the people killed who came. Nobody said nothing. Organized the peace talk, killed the people at the table, and nobody said a word. I don't know. Purpose, when was this? This week. This week. Organize a peace talk. Hamas, y'all come to the table. Come to Qatar. They go to Qatar, they get killed. Trump, your president organized the assassination of these people and the people on the boat. Nobody's saying a word. I know y'all news didn't report that. I know y'all news did not report that he organized the peace treaty. The people go to the peace treaty. They bomb the peace treaty. I know y'all didn't hear it. I know you didn't hear it. Your country is the big bad. I know that it's hard to take. I know it's hard to take. You ever have a friend who's uh, coming to the realization that her family is cuckoo? She thought her family was normal. Then she finds out her family is cuckoo. That her family is the one who's doing crazy things. And the rest, it's not everybody else, is her family. Y'all's country is the big bad. And nobody said nothing. He said, Trump says, come to this peace treaty. They come to the peace treaty. They get bombed. Some people die, but not all of them. I don't read good in Spanish. Some people die. Some people die. Nobody says a word. That's a war crime. That's a war crime. High Vibe said it's hard to keep up, girl. The media is state sanctioned, is what High Vibe is saying. Yeah. So so you're operating in a country where the media has clearly said, starting quite a while ago, but also out loud during this last election, the media has clearly said, yeah, we're going to go on this side because we don't want to face any repercussions when this dude gets in power. So I don't know. You need to find some media outlets that are not U.S. U.S. outlets. I don't know how else you would know what's happening in the world. How else you would know what is being done in your name using your tax dollars. You are not going to know. This is where we are in US history. You do not know what's being done in your name using your tax dollars if you're letting the United States media report to you. Because that's what's being done in your name. Stay in that country if you want to. At some point, at what point do we become complicit? As Black people, I think we're the bottom. We're the last to be blamed for things, I think. But at some point, once you stay, is there a point where you also are complicit in this? If you're a Jew who at some point believed in Zionism, who believed that that was your homeland, and you moved there to Israel, at at some point you got to say this shit is wrong. I'm leaving, and I'm pulling out my money, and I'm whatever. This is being done in my name with my money. At some point, those people need to wake up and leave. But you know what? Same for Americans. At some point, you have to say, I don't condone this. And if I'm staying here, I am complicit. That's what I think. So, CNN, my phone, come on, you can do it. CNN, the article. So, you know how you look at your phone, at what you've been looking at on your phone. and foolishness stuff. I'm embarrassed. I wouldn't want you to see. I dug into that bear grizzly man. That man, I never heard of that man. Grizzly man who thought he was friends with the bears, and then they mauled him to death. Him and his girlfriend. My recent search history. I don't want you to see my recent search history, but in CNN, inside Israel's operation to kill Hamas leaders in Qatar, updated 7 hours ago. Can I send you this link? United States has put forward a new ceasefire proposal. Discussion wrapped up shortly before 9:30 in the evening. Let me copy the paste. Doesn't seem to have a paywall. Copy. I saw someone saying, show it to me. Since I now know that I can use my phone for pasting things. This is CNN's version. I didn't read CNN's version yet, but what I read in Colombia, that's what they told me. Trump organized this ceasefire. The people, Hamas goes to the ceasefire. They bomb the ceasefire talks. Nichelle says CNN is long gone. So I don't know. That's what I read in Colombia. That's what I read. Yes, I didn't watch Grizzly Man. I didn't watch it, but I saw a YouTube video about Grizzly Man. And so then they said that they have the audio recordings of him actually being mauled by the bear to death. And so then I went down the rabbit hole of the thing, and it turns out that there was a filmmaker. He was working with a filmmaker. I was like, how do you have audio recordings of this man's death by bear mauling? And whatever. It was Werner Herzog, a famous filmmaker, was working with a filmmaker, whatever. So I don't know. So my last 3 searches were the man's name, Tim Treadwell, Grizzly Man audio recording, and Werner Herzog. But I just didn't understand how they had a recording of him being killed. I just, that's what, you know how you see in the middle of the night, you be doing stuff. And in the daytime, you're like, what was I doing? Why was I wasting my time? During Exodus Summit season, I'm researching Grizzly Man. Don't I have more work to do than that? Isn't there something else I should be focused on? Doom scrolling is right. Doom scrolling. Okay. He had his camera on. I'll tell you what happened. He had been recording a lot of stuff for the documentary. And so he had the camera on, but the lens cap was on. And it was horrendous. The account that I read of how they found him, the state they found him and her in, horrendous. But as you can imagine, I guess, as you could imagine. Yeah, he was on yes, T. Nelson. He recorded everything. Recorder was on, but the cover was on the lens. Yeah, that's what they told me. That's what they told me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I saw that, right? And so MSNBC, so the news outlets fired someone who said that man was, what that man said was hate speech. All he, according to what I read, all he said was he was something and hate speech. He's like, I feel like if we're not at a time when we can all agree that that was hate speech, then it's time to get out of that place, right? If the news outlets can't even report that man was that what that man said was hate speech, it's going down. Okay, things are going down. It's going south. If you have children, you need to make a plan for where you want them to live and what kind of environment you want them to be in. Yeah, that's what Karen D said. He was telling the truth. Yeah, all I read was he said something about hate speech and something else. Right? It's going down. So I don't know the like building blocks, the tumbling blocks. I don't know the steps to this thing, but I know Media no longer reporting the truth is one of them steps, right? One of them steps to the end of the end in the United States is the media no longer reports the truth. It's time to get yourselves a plan, friends. Exodus Summit, okay? If money, so serious. I mean this sincerely as a woman in Bogota, Colombia with my new apartment, right? So sincerely. If money is the reason today that you can't make an exit plan, address the money, okay? If it's family members are a reason that you can't make an exit plan, address that, right? Put your parents, put them in a nursing home or bring them with you or let them stay where they are. Make sure they're set up. If it's your children, they don't have a say. Why do they have a say? Take them with you. Or if there's another person, let's see. What would I do if I had children and they had a parent, a father? I don't know. I don't know what I would do in that circumstance. Somebody in Exodus Summit, somebody in the community has dealt with that, has navigated that exact situation. So I guess what I would do is I would get in community, I would get support. I would say, here's my problem. How did you solve this problem? And I would talk to women who have solved that problem. Make racist uncomfortable again says, Dad doesn't want to go, but I'm going anyway, making a way for when he changes his mind eventually. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Oh, 6 weeks later said her son was pulled over by the police earlier this week. Scariest moments of her life. I watched Queen. There's a woman I follow on Instagram who is like an activist for a couple different things, including disability. She's a disability activist and some other things. And her children had a lockdown drill yesterday or 2 days ago in school. And then Friday, she had to send them back to school. And it was so hard for her. I don't know if it was a drill, if it was a false alarm. I don't know what it was. But sending her kids back to school on Friday was horrible for her. And for them, right? Of course. Let's make a plan. They don't have to live like that. There are children all over the world. They don't do that, right? There are children all over the world who do not do that. They do not have lockdown drills. They do not have active shooter drills. They got a fire drill and maybe a tornado drill. I don't know. Do other places get tornadoes? You never hear about tornadoes anywhere but the United States. Do other places get tornadoes? They may do. We did tornado drills in Ohio, right? There are kids who live like that, who ride their bikes to the soccer field and do a fire drill at home, put a little sticker on the window. I remember coming home and putting that little sticker on your window that you were supposed to put on when you have a kid in that room. I remember that, and we practiced at home. I remember that, probably second or third grade, because we moved out of that house before fourth grade. I remember having that little sticker on my window. That was the scariest thing, right? For me as a child, what was scary out in the world? Maybe a fire in the house and quicksand, right? I was terrified of quicksand. I feel like every cartoon and every TV show had quicksand in it. And I just knew that was going to be a big problem in adulthood. Those were my concerns. Those were my concerns. Do they know I'm here if there's a fire, or do we have a drill? I think really my concern was like, how many seconds? How long? We need to practice this. Your parents never want to take stuff seriously. Practice the fire drill. They told me at school we had to practice. And what am I going to do about that quicksand? Like, what do you do? What is the plan? How do I not panic when the quicksand is here? That was childhood for Stephanie in Newcastle. It wasn't this. It wasn't how do you interact with ICE? How do you interact with the police? What do you do in an active shooter situation? The most recent one, they said he got frustrated because he couldn't get to more kids They were planned. They were organized. Them kids, they did what they had to do. So he ended up shooting himself because he couldn't shoot more kids. Right? Now, the drill worked for them, but it shouldn't have had to. They shouldn't have had to. Killer Bees, Chanel, you must be younger than me. I'm going to say Chanel is younger because Killer Bees, that was later. I think I was pretty much an adult by the time the Killer Bees were coming to get us. Right? That's millennial. I think Quicksand, Gen X, Killer Bees, millennials. Is that right? Is that Quicksand? Every TV show and cartoon, it was always quicksand. I just knew that was going to be a major problem. Don't struggle against it. You got to pull yourself out and then lay flat. Don't walk. If you get out, you don't walk. I know what to do in quicksand. You don't walk on it. You slither across it. You got to disperse your body weight. I know how to handle myself in quicksand. You know what I've never come up across? Quicksand. I know the routine. LaRonda said she did learn about killer bees in grade school. Okay, maybe just not where I was. Maybe we were in Ohio. Maybe the killer bees came to Ohio late. Elle says quicksand had serious PR in the 80s. It was everywhere. I just knew it was going to be a problem. Not a problem. Yeah. Okay. So there are Black women and families who have made their exodus, right? And they're doing well. I don't hear reports of this was a huge mistake. We don't hear report. If we did, you would know. You're in our communities. The Facebook group had 26,000 people, okay? If that was happening, you would have known. What you hear is, oh, here's our nice life. Our keynote speaker, who I'm not going to tell you about. You got to go look for yourself on exodussummit.com. Our keynote speaker just moved her whole family to Portugal, a gang of kids. They got a gang of kids. Her husband and then their children moved to Portugal, right? Get your plan together with support. You're not starting from zero on this plan because you happen to know 26,000 people on this same journey. Get your plan together. Knock my water over, but I happen to have a towel here. For sound cancellation purposes, I have a whole towel beside me. Get your plan together and get in community with other people who are organizing this plan. Let's make some efforts towards it. Because it doesn't have to be that. That doesn't have to be the way you live. Just because that's how people are living right now in the United States doesn't mean that that has to be how y'all live. I know that. It doesn't have to be like that. Right? There were people who got up out of Germany and its surrounding countries. There are people who just got up out of there. I don't want to deal with this. We're leaving. Right? You can get up out of there. Okay? There are people with fewer resources probably than you had, who are finding a real solution, a real pathway. Not okay, so I do think it's relatively urgent, but I don't mean pick up and just have nothing and no plan. I don't mean that because I don't know people who've done that. Right. We're 50. Me and my friends, we're in our 40s and 50s. We like to have things worked out. I don't mean that. I don't mean run as if the house is on fire. I mean make a plan for the fire evacuation, okay? And the house might be on fire very soon. I don't know. Some of y'all, I don't know. For some of you, the house is on fire. You just don't know it yet. You don't smell the smoke yet. Because who are they coming for next? I don't know. I try not to do alarmist talk, but this is an alarming time. You do need to have some things worked out, right? What did I do about my people and pets? What do I do about my home and stuff? Where am I going? What's it cost? Where's that money coming from? Do I need residency where I'm going? Right. You do need to have those things worked out. But for some of you, the house is on fire. You don't smell that smoke. By the time you smell the smoke, right? Those kids, that family, those families in that school. We had a school shooting on the first day of school. They didn't know the house was on fire. Right? It was on fire. They just didn't know it. Them kids died on the first day of school. And then the second week of school, we had a school shooting. And now the third week of school, we got a school shooting. It is on fire. So I don't want to say, and on one hand, so both, it's time to make a plan and enact the plan. It's time to make a plan and enact the plan. Because they didn't know. I watched one of the interviews with a dad from this Colorado shooting. That should not be real life. I know what it's like to have something happen and you're like, I hope this is a dream. I hope this is a dream. This has to be a dream. And it's not. It's reality. But it should not. This should not be reality. Nobody agrees. Nobody, everyone agrees that should not be their reality. So let's make a plan. The Classy Hacker says, let's go back to that $350 childcare in Bogota. If you weren't here, I live in a relatively bougie neighborhood. It's a nice, I think that's right, relatively bougie neighborhood. And daycare in this neighborhood for I looked at 4 years old, right? 4-year-old preschooler is what I looked up. Preschooler, where they provide the meals, is $385 for a full month. $385 for a full month. There's a nice life waiting for you somewhere else. There's a nice life waiting for you. You may have to learn how to do your own hair until you find a hairdresser or learn how to beat a wig, right? You might have to learn. There's going to be some changes. There's some changes when you go to a new place. But there's a nice life waiting for you, okay? I'm going to go ahead and eat my breakfast now. Make my breakfast and eat it. Hopefully I can restart my computer and my thing's been charging. Let's see. Hopefully I'm back to that. And now I have an update. I wonder if that was just Google Chrome messing with me because I didn't update my thing. Let's see. I don't see my. Oh, wait. I'm back. Okay. Thing is back. Thank you for your patience with me. Thank you for your patience with me and my tech issues. I hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me this Saturday morning. And we'll do it again. Okay? We'll do it again. Leading up to Exodus Summit 2025, we're going to talk a lot about money. We're going to talk a lot about locations, like different places. So let's get yourself ready so that by the time you go to Exodus Summit, you're ready to take some action. I can see it, but I can't grab it. So that by the time you come to the summit, you're ready to get going. Okay. Let me inspire you so our speakers can inform you. I'm just going to cover it and pretend like I don't see it. Okay. Well, right. Kat says, no, not everyone agrees. Everyone, all decent people, all decent people agree that this is not a way for us to live. Not everyone. But as you know, as I said, I believe that there are different types of people. I think that in the future, we won't call all of us human beings. I think there are people with zero empathy, zero sense of decency, zero feeling of connectedness to other people. And I think in the future, they will not get the human being label. That's something else. That's something else. I think that. I really sincerely believe that. They're not humans. And so they shouldn't deserve human decency and treatment from us because I don't think they're humans. I've seen dogs on the street show more compassion than these white people in the United States. You ever see a video of a dog on the street and his friend gets hit by a car? He does everything he can to help that friend, get somebody else to help that friend. They're more human. They have more soul than those white people in the United States. I think in the future, there will be a different label for them because they don't have it. And I think that's a thing that makes us human. I think I'm not a scientist. Maybe a scientist would be like, girl, soul, what are you talking about? No. But I think there will have to be a distinction. Or how will we survive with them? We can't survive alongside them if we don't know who they are. I need to know from the get-go. No soul, no empathy, no compassion, no decency. I need to know these people up front. Nobody likes to be surprised. Nobody wants to be surprised. Oh, you didn't have no soul this whole time? I wish I had known that. I think so. I think that there will be a division. I think so. There's going to have to be. Or how are we going to survive? Us, the decent people who are sharing and giving, compassionate, even if we're still selfish, because I'm still a selfish person, still feels a connection to other people. How would I survive in the midst of those people? I wouldn't. I need to know who they are. I need to know. There's going to be something different. Something different. Oh. Oh. I'm very sorry to hear that. Oh. The luxury bucket list dog died in his pet carrier. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. You see, we're all very sorry to hear that. Oh, I know that's hard. I know that's devastating. Nobody likes surprise devastation. I'm sorry. Okay. So we take efforts to put ourselves in the position to be with the people, with surrounded by people that we can be ourselves with, instead of people we always need to be guarded against. And in the United States, with them people, you're going to always need to be guarded. Always have, always will. So welcome to Bogota. Come on down. If you can stand gray weather with little hints of blue sky here and there, you're going to like it here. Okay. Go to Mexico City. If you can stand, what's Mexico City's thing? Oh, if you can stand, with a lot of places have rainy season. If you can stand a significant rainy season followed by significant periods of water restriction, which is a lot of the world, you're going to like it there, right? Welcome to Lisbon. If you can stand 300 days of sunshine and pastis de nada, you're going to like it there, right? Welcome to South Africa. If you can stand blackouts, right? If you can figure out a system to get around blackouts, you're going to like it there. Welcome to Vietnam. If you can stand not being a resident and always having to fly in and out, you're going to like it there. Welcome to Thailand. If you can stand spicy food and sweating all the time, you're going to love it there. Welcome to Fiji. If you can stand being worshiped as a Black woman, if you can stand everywhere you go, people falling at your feet, being so happy to see you, Black woman, in Fiji, you're going to like it there. We got choices. We got options. Let's exercise those options. I'll see y'all again. Some of you I'll see right here in person in Bogota. Exodus Summit International Meetup Day, October 4th. Find a meetup or go to a meetup. If you haven't found one, make one. Okay? Meet up with some people where you are or where you want to be, October 4th. And inside of the Exodus Summit community, you'll find information. ExodusSummit.com/community. I can type this in here now that I've charged my thing. I didn't know this. I'm new to computers. I'm new to I told that lady the other day, I'm new to Zoom. I don't know how to do these things. Okay, let me go ahead and type this down. Type this in exodussummit.com/community. Look at me. You charge your thing and it works. Who knew? Charge your devices and they work. Okay. All right. Nice hanging out with you guys. Thank you for letting me go do what I do for 3 hours. Okay. And nice to see you again soon. T. Nelson went to a meetup in Cincinnati a week ago. It was a great experience. I'm glad. I'm glad. Did you share pictures? If you didn't, do you mind sharing some pictures in the Exodus Summit community? Thank you. Yes, meetups are wonderful. I love them. We recommend them. Do them, enjoy them, and then share them so we can see the photos. Let us know. Okay. Nice to see you guys. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys have a restful day and a rechargeful day and a do whatever you want day, do whatever you want weekend. Okay. See you guys again. Bye.